死んだは初めて俺に伝えている。
絶望の匂いだ。
面白いこと見せようか。ほら、こんなに家賃が多すぎて。
お父さん。
あかん。
ドナルド君、まだ死ぬ時じゃないでしょ。
アメリカ、万歳。ファイト。
絶対負けないよ。
ランドスライドまで。
出ろ。だってまだサンキュー言ってないでしょ。一回も言ってください。
おい、仲良くしてね。この世界、季節にいけるかな。昔グレートだと、大きにまたグレートになるかも。あのさ、有名人なら誰かのマンコ掴んでいいさ。そう。言い放せるで。
What's going on, everyone? Welcome into Cobra Cast Unit 199. I am your host, Jeremy Prime, Mage IDOT of Unit 199. Happy to see all of you here on a Monday, and a lot going on this Monday right now. We are currently waiting for Little Zelensky. I see Lil Zelensky in the chat right now, to arrive at the White House. There's a lot of speculation as to, is he going to wear a suit? He's already getting trolled right now. DC residents are sending a message to Zelensky prior to his arrival at the White House. Wear a suit, bro. I don't think he's going to wear a suit. I don't. Little low. God dang it. My microphone, ever since that massive Windows update I did, my microphone has been all messed up. So I think we're good, though. I think we're good. I don't think he's going to. Unless he changes in between now and the meeting that he just had. I don't know. I have no idea. All right. See, half the people are telling me I'm muted. The other half are telling me that I sound good. So we'll see. Who's arriving right here? Let's see. Let's see who is arriving right now. Zelensky is not scheduled to be there for another 30 minutes. So we'll see what happens. Right now, a lot of the European leaders are arriving at the White House right now. So we are watching that in real time. Let's see. Right here. You know the rules, Bluto. If you're a chick, you're allowed to say it. If you're a dude, you're not. And that continues to emphasize that women have more rights than men, okay? Even in the Cobra Cast chat. If you're a woman, you're allowed to compliment me. If you're a man, you need to call me names. It's that simple, okay? So women have more rights, even in the Cobra Cast chat. Just like in the real world, women have more rights in the real world, and they have more rights in the Cobra Cast chat as well. Those are the rules. Those are the rules, okay? I don't make them up. I just have to follow them. So there you have it, all right? Eric Guidewall with 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, Eric. Cartoon Post says he better say thank you this time. It will be interesting, to say the least. Real Lou D for 5 says, I remember downloading Ukraine versus Russia videos off LimeWire in the early 2000s. LimeWire. That's a name I have not heard in a long time. LimeWire. Never did I think Trump would be the peacemaker. Crazy times indeed. Definitely crazy times indeed, man. It really is something else. Jason J says Ukraine will reject the deal offered. Debate me. They probably will. They probably will. Lil Zelensky says, stop making fun of my height like Lil Kata. Jimmy Ray says Jeremy is as handsome as he is talented. Well, that means I'm not talented. That means I'm not handsome because I'm certainly not talented. So thank you. Keys says, where the hell did it go? It's not showing up on my, not showing up. Not only is Jeremy handsome and talented, but also intelligent. Okay, so we're just lying today. B-Man said, I can't believe I'm here to watch your stream to get the news. I can't either. What the hell is wrong with all of you? But I do appreciate it. So thank you so much. Okay, so I think Fox News has a feed right now. So we'll pull their feed up and listen in as things play out and see what they have to say. There is a I don't know what to expect right now with this, but I have to say it's going to be must-see TV. Another thing too, and we may get into this a little bit later, but and he doesn't know I'm going to do this, but I don't know how many of you I don't know. There's probably a few of you that listen to the Jim Cornette podcast. Okay. And if you watch the most recent upload today, you will hear Jim Cornette go on a massive TDS rant. It's next fucking level. Okay. And now I listen to the Jim Cornette podcast a lot. I like Jim Cornette from his wrestling knowledge. His TDS is out of control. And today's podcast is all centered around their former thumbnail artist who no longer works for them because of that person's political opinions. So if you go over to the Jim Cornette YouTube channel right here and you see their videos, you see all this artwork. A guy named Travis did all the artwork, okay? Travis did for years, for like 5, 6, 7 years, Travis did all of the thumbnail artwork. The most recent upload is titled Jim Cornette on Travis Heckle Quitting, and there's no thumbnail. Travis is a fan of the 199. Travis worked for Jim Cornette for all of these years. And because Travis basically criticized Joe Biden and praises Donald Trump, they decided they had to have a talk with him. Oh, we got to have a talk with you about your political opinions, Travis. It's absolutely insane. So anyway, if you guys could go throw Travis some support, he's got some badass banger opinions. Just scroll his Twitter feed. Jim Cornette has some of the worst TDS you will ever see. And listen, I listened to him in spite of that. But what he did today was fucking horrible. Absolutely horrible. Mods can drop a link to his Twitter account right now. But I just wanted to give him a shout out. He doesn't even know I'm doing it. I haven't talked to him about this since that podcast dropped. So, but I just wanted to show him some support over there, because you listen to the Cornette podcast today and it's crazy. Jim Cornette on his podcast has said that Trump is a rapist. He has called him a evil, lying dictator. He has called Trump all the worst things in the world. And his reasoning for Travis being problematic on his Twitter is because Travis called Joe Biden a pedophile. So it's okay for Jim Cornette to call Donald Trump all the worst things in the world, but it's not okay for a person that does his thumbnails to say something about Joe Biden. Fucking insane. Ramtack says, who cares? Well, Ramtack, clearly I fucking care, because that's why I'm talking about it. And I'm going to talk about it even more now, Ramtack, because you said, who cares? I was literally about to move off of this subject, but you said, who cares? So I'm going to spend more time on it about Travis and his Twitter account. I was about to move on and you fucking had to complain. So now I'm going to fucking talk about it more. So if you go over here, right here, can we just say that this dude wants to continue war? Because here is Zelensky. Here is Zelensky showing up in a fucking t-shirt in his prior meeting when he's going to the White House. And you could see, man, he's letting everybody know where he stands on politics. He is not backing down at all. Therapist, do you hold grudges? Me. That's a perfect meme. It's a perfect meme. But yes. So Should this result in instant deportation? I'm not even going to listen to the video and say absolutely instant deportation. Communism is and always will be the single biggest force of evil out there. Learn history. Travis sounds like he knows his shit. Sounds like he knows his stuff. So anyway, now we can move on. Ramtack, you made me talk about it for a few more minutes longer because you had to complain. But anyway, we do have very important things to talk about today. As these European leaders are showing up to the White House, we await Zelensky. And the big discussion is, will Zelensky wear a suit? And I don't think he will. And if he doesn't wear a suit, that's going to really have Trump start out on a bad foot with him. It's going to be a big problem. It's going to be a huge problem, actually. Let's see here. Bigfoot Papa says, damn, I was mid spanking the monkey and saw you were live. Had to come straight here as a straight serious man. Thank you, Bigfoot Papa. Sorry I interrupted. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot says he got there an hour ago, black pants, black t-shirt, not to the White House, not to the White House. He was meeting with a different group of people in that meeting. So he's not at the White House yet. Lil Zelensky says Jeremy smaller than me from the waist down. Gerald Armstrong says Cornette is a Democrat, not just TDS. Oh, he's a Democrat, but his TDS is out of fucking control. It's horrible. McCock says if Tim Pool is the Ric Flair podcasting, then you are the Iron Claw version. No. If Tim Pool is the Ric Flair of podcasting, I'm the Ric Flair that was in the Iron Claw movie. And if you've seen that, you would understand just how much of disrespect that is to me, because that version of Ric Flair was worse than the Temu version of Ric Flair. So that would be, if Tim Pool is the Ric Flair podcasting, I'm the Ric Flair that was in the Iron Claw. And it's not good. It's not a compliment at all. Kenny Justice says Jeremy is a badass commander. That's the real fact. Thanks, Snake Pit, for 16 months. Stupid question, bro. You like fighting games? I do. I'm not as big into fighting games as I used to be. I used to be into, like, I love the Mortal Kombat games back in the day, in the early days, with like Mortal Kombat 1 through 3. Obviously Smash Bros, that's a given. I played some Street Fighter, Soul Calibur, Battle Arena, Toshinden. I definitely, Soul Calibur probably been my favorite fighting game franchise. Lapco says, if you fall, a friend asks, are you okay? A good friend will help you out. A best friend laughs and says, walk much, dumbass. That is 100% accurate. That is 100% accurate. I agree completely. Yeah, real friends just talk shit and laugh at you. They don't actually like help you, unless it's like real friends step up when it's like super serious. But if it ain't super serious, real friends just laugh at you and make fun of you. Bigfoot Papa says, I identify this chat as a proper 199. Respect my pronouns. Look at that. Already getting proper 199s. Not really. Aldo becomes a new member. Thank you. Warbeer says, stop showing Sydney Sweeney. I don't give a fuck about her. Nice try. Ministry of Wrong Thing says, meanwhile, Tree Bear. What is this? Tree Bear bum fuck Jeremy over a couch every Tuesday night's main event and is damn they're one of G&G's best unofficial employees. I kind of understood what you were saying there, Ministry of Wrong Thing. You kind of butchered it a little bit, but you're basically saying Tree Bear roasts me every single day on memes, and he's still one of our best unofficial employees. Bigfoot Papa says Zelensky is what the alphabet people call twink. Ride the Guy says, trying some reverse psychology. Jeremy, I'm so tired of seeing Sydney Sweeney. I don't want to see her anymore. Look at that. You guys are trying. Matthew says, hey, Jeremy, Matt from Club Star Wars. What do you think about British Prime Minister Keir Starmer? What are the Americans' view on the way the UK is going. I mean, I can't speak too much specifically about Keir Starmer, outside of the fact that, you know, he's clearly a beta male who has been exposed many times over, but like what's going on in the UK is absolutely horrendous. I feel bad for people in the UK, but man, you guys have a hell of a problem on your hands over there. We want nothing to do. We want nothing to do with any of that bullshit. And he's at the White House today. He's at the White House today. Like, isn't in the UK, you can't say, like, you can't misgender somebody, right? Isn't that how it is over there? You can't even misgender. It's crazy, dude. Let me see. Munchie Ninja says Jay Lethal does an incredible Ric Flair. It's probably the only race swap I would support. Aldo says my favorite hardcore Zionist newscaster. Anthony says Tom McDonald listen new song called Devil is a Democrat. It's really good. I will check that out. I'm not a huge Tom McDonald fan, but you know, I like him. He's a cool guy, but I've heard a lot of like conservatives and be like, Tom McDonald, man, he's like the new Eminem for the right. And I'm like, no, he's not. His music's not that good. I appreciate the message behind it. I appreciate that he's based, but his music's not that good. Okay. It's just not. I'm sorry. I don't like it. I can't pretend to like it because he's saying the things that I want him to say. It doesn't make the music good. But I'm glad that he's a cool guy. I don't like his music though. I'm sorry. Bigfoot Papa says real friends show Sydney Sweeney. Little Jim's Halo says Sweeney mid, not hot at all. You guys are trying me today. Okay, let's listen in right here to hear what they're saying.
I believe one of his assistants had probably said something like this. If you don't make a deal that's real that leads to a peace agreement as a result of this meeting, President Trump is going to crush your economy. That's what you're facing. And I got it. I think hang on. That is very credible.
Here we go. Just in, Zelensky's fashion designer. He has a fashion designer? He has a fashion designer? What are we doing? What are we doing? Zelensky's fashion designer. So this man is supposed to be at war, and he's walking around and traveling with a fucking fashion designer? Has announced Zelensky will be in a military-style outfit instead of a traditional suit when meeting with President Trump. Ukrainian President Zelensky will once again forego the traditional suit when he meets U.S. President Trump at the White House on Monday instead of opting for a military-style outfit, one of his designers told Politico. Here's Macron right here showing up to the White House. I think that's Monica Crowley. For people that are asking, I think that's Monica Crowley that's there at the White House greeting people. I could be mistaken, but I think so. Yeah, the fact that Zelensky has a fashion designer might be the most insane thing I have heard. What a freaking joke, dude. So this dude is like at war. He's talking about how terrible things are, and he's traveling around with a fucking fashion designer, and he's making fashion choices. Like, what are we doing, dude? Good Lord. How embarrassing, man. How unbelievably embarrassing. Well, that's going to start things off in not the best way for President Trump today. President Trump is not going to be happy about that at all.
That if you put sanctions on at this point, it would end the discussion. And so he's giving a little bit longer. But he did say after Alaska, if he doesn't get what he wants, if he doesn't see the progress he is looking for, that those sanctions come back on the table. And that's going to be a really important message that President Putin will be sending, President Trump will be sending after this. And so it's fascinating to see how they're playing this. They don't want to cut the bridges yet, but there will be presumably some very strict rules in the counteroffer. And I think that's what this is going to be after President Trump has spoken to Zelensky and European leaders. They will go back to President Putin with a counteroffer, starting with a trilat. And if that doesn't happen, I think that President Trump has to be sure that he will hit them with sanctions.
Yeah, I think Ben makes great points, as always. And we're waiting for Zelensky to arrive here. You know, there's been a lot of discussion, Ben, about the red carpet being rolled out for Putin. And I think that was the opening offer for these discussions. And of course, President Trump would want to make him feel sort of comfortable in order to begin this conversation and begin this process. But clearly, the red carpet at this moment is rolled out for all of these European leaders and for Zelensky. And one of the things that I think Russia has wanted, based on what we have learned, is to drive a wedge between Zelensky and Trump. And the last time Zelensky was here, there was...
No, Zelensky is driving the wedge in between him and Trump. Zelensky is the one doing that. He's the one that is basically a child. He's the one doing it.
And Trump to get back together with Zelensky, with the Putin meeting in the rearview mirror. And this is a huge moment for the Ukrainian leader, Ben.
Yeah, absolutely. But look, President Trump often almost drives a wedge between people he's trying to do a deal with. It's a starting point for him. Look at the tariffs. You know, he says, you know, if we don't get what we want, there will be consequences. And we saw it with President Zelensky. And very soon after that, President Zelensky came to the table. He said, I would offer a ceasefire. He wants to get involved. And so the wedge he apparently drew between himself and Zelensky got Zelensky to where President Trump wanted him, ready to negotiate. And then he used the sanctions to get President Trump to get against President Putin to get President Putin to the table. So
this guy talking sounds very weak and beta. He sounds like a beta who gets easily triggered over grown men doing what grown men do, being alphas and leading and taking charge and not listening to cries of females like this guy.
he would rather speak to these people, get them to the table, rather than just have a moral victory of saying we won't talk to them. You know, he spoke to Kim Jong-un. That didn't end anywhere. He walked away from that because he didn't get what he wanted. And he said again, he will walk away from this if he doesn't get what he wanted. So this is President Trump playing it how he often plays it. He talks about the art of the deal. And it is a real sign that after the last Oval Office meeting between President Zelensky and President Trump, here he is again. The red carpet is being rolled out. And I think that will send hopefully a really clear message to Putin and the Russians that, again, these countries are unified. And if President Putin doesn't come to the table,
It's not Putin. Like, Putin had the meeting with Trump. Whatever happened with that meeting happened. I don't know the details of it. But the fact that Zelensky not even going to show up in a fucking suit, and he's going to show up in his dumb military gear so he can present this image that he's always at war. This is a guy that didn't they have him show up to the House floor, give a fucking speech when Joe Biden was president, had the fucking Ukraine flag up there, which again, Blockbuster Video, I stand with Blockbuster Video as well. I want Blockbuster Video back just as much as anyone. I do find it very, very refreshing that so many people put the Blockbuster Video icon in their profile on Twitter. I stand with Blockbuster Video as well. But it's not going to probably return, unfortunately. But it's nice to see that so many people are out there supporting it. Thank you for the support for Blockbuster Video. But yeah, I mean, this guy he behaves like a child, and he behaves like a spoiled little brat. That's what he behaves like, Zelensky. So, you know, guess we'll see. Let me see. Mick Walsh says, I love that hoodie and fuck 2-tier Keir Starmer. Jacoby says Sweeney flat. Bigfoot Papa says he won't wear a suit because he's at war, but has a fashion designer. Absolute BS. Send him to Alligator Alcatraz. Eric K says, Jeremy, you know some guys think Lizzo is peak female. Maybe he is that type since he thinks Sweeney is mid. So give the Lizzo lover a break. Philip Butler says Monica Crowley speaks Russian. Jameson says Jeremy is a YouTube star. That's what friends do. Is it Antonic? I don't know how to say it, but these journalists just make up crap and call it news. None of them know what Trump is thinking. This is true. Hydrocoptic says, is this meeting going to be public or private? I'm pretty sure from the I saw the list of the schedule. Let me see if I can pull that schedule up, so I know I had it bookmarked. Vance will be there too, from what I understand. Let me see if I can pull this meeting up, because I had the whole schedule right in front of us here, if I can find it. And it breaks it down about, like, there's going to be open press and things like that right here. So right here it says at 12 p.m., that's Eastern, White House, European leaders arrive to the White House. 1 p.m. Eastern, which is in 5 minutes, the president greets president of Ukraine, open press. So it says open press right there. President participates in a bilateral meeting with the president of Ukraine at 1:15, White House press pool, Oval Office. 2:15, president greets European leaders. That's closed press. So we're going to get, definitely we're going to see some of this stuff with Zelensky for sure. We're definitely going to. Should be interesting. It's going to be must-see TV, baby. By the way, StreamYards is broken, so I can't highlight the comments, but I see all of them coming in. Kevin, for I think that's like 50 USD. Thank you for the 50 or near it. Trump should tell Zelensky to get some better genes. He should, you're 100% right, Kevin. He should show Zelensky a picture of Sydney Sweeney and says, get some better genes like this, because she has great genes. Thank you so much, Kevin. Benjamin says, finally, good content. Chair. Oh, hi, Jeremy. You thought for a minute. Eric K says, Jeremy never sees anything in mods right. I see it, I just don't care. So it's kind of the same thing. Zinni Biscuit says, I too travel with my fashion designer. I travel with her 24/7. Then again, I am my own fashion designer. 100%. 100%. Hydrocopter says, thanks for the info. Thank you. Appreciate you guys being here. While we're waiting on all of this, we have to talk about this, man. This is one of the worst stories I've seen. Also, this is a, I don't know if it's a personal story. It's not so much a personal story, I guess it is, but like it hits home with me, okay? Fuck illegal immigrants. Every single one of them. Get them the fuck out of this country. All of them. No exceptions whatsoever. So I'm sure many of you saw this story yesterday, but this is a horrific story. I am always driving on the Florida Turnpike. Always. So the fact that this happened on the Florida Turnpike oh my God, this pisses me off so bad. So here you have an illegal immigrant driving a semi on the Florida Turnpike. Out of nowhere, this piece of shit does a U-turn on the turnpike. Essentially, the turnpike, you could essentially say it's the interstate, okay? Does a U-turn in the middle of the Florida Turnpike. A family slams right into the trailer and it kills the entire family. Whole family crushed right there in that moment as he makes this fucking U-turn. And look at his reaction. Look at this reaction. He doesn't even give a shit. He doesn't even care. He thinks that they inconvenienced him. And then look at him. Look at him. I'm supposed to feel sorry for this motherfucker. I'm supposed to have sympathy for these pieces of shit. This piece of shit that hates our country and hates our people. I'm supposed to have sympathy for this motherfucker. Sorry, I don't. Separate them from the families. I don't give a fuck. If you're illegal, out of this country, no questions asked, no sympathy whatsoever. And the backstory here is that the state of California is that's the state that gave him his CDL license, his commercial driver's license that allows him to drive this truck. And I've had a CDL before as well. So the fact that the state of California gave an illegal immigrant a commercial driver's license, and now a family of 3 is dead. Fucking bullshit. Makes me so angry, dude. So angry. Unbelievable. More context. 3 killed after semi-truck makes U-turn on the Florida Turnpike. A semi-truck tried to make a U-turn at an official use-only turn and crossed in front of a minivan in the left lane. The 30-year-old driver of the minivan and his 2 passengers, a 37-year-old woman and a 54-year-old man, all died. The driver of the minivan was unable to avoid the semi-truck. The driver of the semi-truck and passenger were not injured. Of course, the illegal fucking immigrants were not injured. Disgusting. Really pisses me off. But I wanted to talk about that before everything gets started. And it's just, the face of evil right there. That's Gavin Newsom right there. Gavin Newsom's creation right there. Absolutely disgusting. Daniel for 10 says, same driver collapsed a whole bridge in Arkansas 5 years ago and was still allowed to drive, per Revolver News. So the same driver? Really? I haven't heard that story. Wow. I didn't even hear that one. Eric K says, Jeremy, the U-turn happened again from California, giving them a Class A1 license. Disaster was narrowly averted. Gavin needs to be sued. He does. Detective Sherlock Mazza says they should be given the D penalty considering they took lives. Sending them back home sends the wrong message and gives them a chance to come back. Agreed. Corporate billionaire for a 99 cent. Thank you so much. Yes, if somebody says different driver, different ages. Yeah, I haven't heard that particularly, but either way, I mean, it's just a terrible story, man. Absolutely terrible. And I hope that there's a further investigation, and I hope they find out even more information about this person. Unbelievable. Okay, well, back to the news at hand right now. We are currently, Zelensky should be showing up to the White House any minute now.
Zelensky speaking earlier today in a meeting with Special Envoy to Russia and Ukraine, Keith Kellogg.
Thankful to the President for this invitation. We will speak about the architecture. I think so. We will have time to speak about architecture of security guarantees. And this is what really, I think, the most important.
Hello, I'm John Roberts, and welcome to our coverage on this important Monday afternoon, and good afternoon to you as well.
Good afternoon. Great to be with you, John, as we're watching all this unfold in real time at the White House. I'm Jillian Turner in for Sandra Smith today. This is America Report. So today's meeting comes on the heels of that very high-profile summit in Alaska between President Trump and Russian leader Vladimir Putin Friday. It ended, as we all know, without a ceasefire, but White House officials insist they did make some progress towards what they envision to be a final peace deal. The agreement could include security guarantees for Ukraine in exchange for considerable territorial concessions.
President Trump writing about today's talks on Truth Social, saying a big day at the White House. We have never had so many European leaders here at one time. A great honor for America. Let's see what the results will be. We've got an all-star lineup for you standing by with analysis on today's White House meeting and what it could mean for the war. Arthur McCallum, Benjamin Hall, Mark Thiessen, and Kim Strassel are all here.
Great. So this means Zelensky is late. Zelensky is late for his meeting. You know who's not late? Kevin just dropped 50 gifted memberships in the chat. 50 gifted memberships. Holy crap. The party is getting started now. Kevin is here. Holy crap. Thank you, Kevin. You know how we celebrate 50 gifted memberships around here, don't you? There's only one way to celebrate 50 gifted memberships. Only one way to celebrate 50 gifted memberships. Anna Paulina Luna She has great genes. I would vote for her. I would vote for her. Yes, I would. Yes, I did. Okay. James says, Jeremy, don't talk about the trucker. Scream it. Polite Rude Guy says, Z-Boy needs to accept the peace deal. River Miles says, late and short. Talking about Zelensky. AJ says, I hope JD puts Zelensky in his place if he mouths off. We hope so. It will be great. Benjamin says, Zelensky learned about being late from Gary. Not good. Nico says, Europe is a cancer and a ruin. I know, I live here. They work with American neocons, and they've come here to sabotage the deal. That's why President Trump should tell them, fight Russia on your own. Well said. So yeah, we are currently waiting for the little man to show up, and he is nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. Isn't that interesting? Manta says, I hope Trump brings Zelensky and his EU babysitters back to reality. People are dying senselessly at the front simply because Z are unwilling to compromise. The Ukrainians themselves don't want him anymore. I hope so too. And that's the thing, man. Like, whatever ultimately happens from this, thank God for President Trump. He's the only person that can get this conversation in the direction that it's moving. He's the only one that wants to do it. He's the only one that's interested, because the rest of these politicians are a bunch of warmongers and neocons. It's pretty sad state of affairs, but at least President Trump is the one making it happen. So, let's see. Where did that? Nico says President Putin has been through 5 presidents, and he only liked Bush, whom he worked with in the war of terror, providing transport to America troops, and of course President Trump, because he listens. And Nico says, if Trump stands his ground and rebuilds the relationship with Russia, he can use this to talk to China. Rumor is he will attend the Chinese Victory Day parade, where both she and Putin will be there. Gerald Armstrong says, remember when Zelensky said, what cards? I'm not playing cards. Oh, we all remember those memes. We all remember that. The Good White says, thank you for 5. Mad Frog says, late and gay, but mostly gay. Guava Ball says, Trump should play the Lollipop Guild theme song from The Wizard of Oz when that tiny little man walks in. Good Lord. Max says, Zelensky is late. What is he doing? Playing Skibbity Toilets 199. Jim says, Anna has some amazing genes. Oh, yeah. APL, I respect her a lot. And I always have. Always have. Okay, so let's see what they're saying over here on Fixed News. Is it lagging right now? Let's refresh. Of course, my whole feed's crashed now, so see what's going on here. Yeah, it completely kicked me out. The hell, man. Completely kicked me out. All right, here we go.
Origins,
There
though,
we go.
of this iteration of Putin's invasion and assault on Ukraine 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago, the Western world, including the U.S., stood by for over a year as Russia built up troops along Ukraine's border, stood idly by.
So Zelensky's now 8 minutes late. Let's see. Crimson Ghost says, looking good, Jeremy. You're a girl. You have the right to say that. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate that. Again, women have more rights in the snake pit than men. That's just the way it goes. I don't make up the rules.
Or Russia invaded
It's how it
Ukraine. I
is.
was traveling with Secretary Blinken when he met with Lavrov just a few weeks before in Geneva. And I remember watching that meeting, and they sat down at the beginning and they talked to one another. And the one thing that stood out to me was that there was no
I mean, seriously, Zelensky is officially late for his 1 p.m. greeting with President Trump to the White House. Trump and the world are still waiting. How disrespectful is this clown? Seriously. How disrespectful is this clown? This is unbelievable, man. Wow. Gonna be an interesting day to say the least. Now, if you remember, this is the last time Zelensky showed up and Trump was not happy with him. He said, you're all dressed up.
Pretty close. Pretty sharp.
He's all dressed up today.
Trump, what's your message to Vladimir Putin, sir? President Trump. President Trump.
He's all dressed up, talking about it like he's a little kid.
Pretty close. Pretty sharp.
He's all dressed up today.
Woo. Oh shit. This is gonna be great, dude. I can't wait to see what happens, man. This is gonna be fantastic.
And President Trump says Putin isn't meeting. We're not meeting in the middle. We'll just stop giving the support. President Putin might well see that as a victory for him, because then Ukraine is weaker. They're relying just on European help. So many factors at play, so many factors happening. But I think that the key thing is to try and make both parties realize they are going to have to compromise in some way. It's the only way this is going to move forward.
Both.
Yep. And as we look at the West Wing entrance, continue to watch the ceremonial guard there. Arrayed, ready to welcome President Vladimir Zelensky when he arrives, which looks like may be happening now.
Is this it?
Flags are going up. That's typically an indication that the dignitary is coming in through the White House driveway. Let's take a look here. Let you hear some of this. No, it just seems like we're flags up, but no transportation at this point. Mark Thiessen, I think back to when you were one of George Bush's speechwriters, and I don't know if you were at the conference that was in Ljubljana, Slovenia.
Oh man, what a disaster. So we are now 12 minutes late. 12 minutes late for Zelensky. I hope we get like a closer camera feed like we did when I'm sure we're going to get a feed like this.
Pretty close. Pretty sharp.
He's all dressed up today.
Oh my God. It's so good. I hope we get a close up on that. Oh shit. So good. I'm refreshing to see what anybody's saying right now. Yep, nothing. No updates or nothing as far as Zelensky's arrival. So we're all just waiting. Zelensky late and no suit. Can you believe it? I can believe it. I can believe it. No one is actually surprised. By the way, did you guys see that MSNBC has rebranded? MSNBC is no more. It is now MS Now.
Style article.
Oh, Trump's out there.
Which
Here
is
it is.
giving them
Here it
basically
is.
the benefits of NATO
Here we
membership
go.
without being
Shut up.
in NATO.
Shut up.
If that happens, then he's giving Putin what he
Shut up.
wants. Putin, you said you didn't want them in NATO, so you
Shut
can't
up.
complain about that. And he's giving Ukraine what it wants, which is the kind of security guarantees that they would need.
All right, so we've got the SUV carrying Vladimir Zelensky coming up to the West Wing portico, and there's President Trump greeting him. I imagine that this meeting is probably going to go a lot better than that one at the White House a couple of months ago.
Couldn't
which
be
did
worse.
not end well. Let's see if we can listen in here.
He said something. He said something about his attire.
President Trump, sir, your message to the people of Ukraine as world leaders gathered here today. Russia continues to attack civilians in Kharkiv, killing many.
Trump said something about his
President,
about his
welcome.
suit.
President Vladimir Zelensky saying of the European leaders who were there, we love them. There's going to be a bilateral meeting between President Trump and Zelensky, of course, with the entourages from the respective countries as well.
All right, we got to get audio of this. I'm going to try to find audio of what Trump said. What do we got here? No, that was from earlier, so that's not it. All right, we've got to have a better angle so we can hear, because Trump said something about his attire. He did. Don't know what, but he did. Oh, shit. You know, like, Zelensky, like, ran over to the men's warehouse real quick. He's like, we better get me a suit or Trump's going to kick my ass. Oh, shit. This is so great. It's like reality TV, man. It wasn't a legit suit, though. That's the thing. By the way, so while I'm looking for that, MSNBC officially changing its name to MS Now, short for my source for news, opinion, and the world. Does anyone actually think this will change? Anything will change. So Trump has destroyed MSNBC as well, okay? MSNBC is dead because of Donald Trump. Donald Trump killed MSNBC. So now they're MS Now, which is a worse name. My God, it's a terrible name. I'll follow up on that a little bit later. Johnny says, Jeremy, stream is freezing, at least in Europe, really bad. Is anyone else having a problem with my stream freezing, or is it just you? Just let me know. Anyone else having a problem? Nope. Okay, everybody else is good? Okay. All right, let me see if I can find some video of this. We got that. Okay, here it is. Here we go. Here we go. Hang on. See if we can get some good audio here. Here it is.
The best I have. I just say it. Ready, face. Every step. President Trump, sir, your message to the people of Ukraine.
Dude, that was the first thing Trump was worried about, was what was he wearing? Holy shit. Twitter video is come on, Twitter video, work with me here. Come on, come on. Here we go.
The best I have. I just say it. Ready, face. Every step. President Trump, sir, your message to the people of Ukraine as world leaders gathered here today. We love them. We love them. Russia continues to attack civilians in Kharkiv. Thank you very much, everybody.
It's like showing up. It's like showing up to make sure your dad approves. Like that's all Trump cared about. That is the greatest thing ever. I fucking love Trump so much, dude. Holy crap. Okay, so we're probably going to get a live feed of the press pool, I would imagine, here at some point. Like, we will get a live feed of them in the Oval Office. And so we're going to be waiting for that feed. And that will be, again, must-see TV. Nico says, by the way, the news keeps showing the same retards, Jack Keane and Ben Hodges, who have been wrong about everything in this conflict. The Russia doctrine is different. They believe in destroying an army and then taking territory. Thank you, Nikos. Matt Frog says, Zelensky doing coke with Hunter. Lil Zelensky says, play some memes for me. Oh, is this... Wait, is this it right here? Is this live? Here we go.
Thank you very much.
Here we
It's
go.
an honor to have the president of Ukraine with us. We've had a lot of good discussions, a lot of good talks, and I think progress is being made, very, very substantial progress in many ways. We had a good meeting, as you know, just a short while ago with the president of Russia. And I think there's a possibility that something could come out of it. And today's meeting is very important. We have, I guess, the seven very powerful leaders from Europe. And we're going to be meeting with them right after this meeting. And thank you very much for being here.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. If I can, first of all, thank you for invitation and thank you very much for your efforts, personal efforts to stop killings and stop this war. Thank you. And using this opportunity, many thanks to your wife, First Lady of the United States. She sent a letter to Putin about our children, adopted children, and my wife, First Lady of Ukraine. She gave the letter. It's not to you, to your wife.
Oh, I want it.
Yeah. So we are saying this sensitive topic. Yeah, please. And thanks to our partners and that you supported this format. That after our meeting we can have leaders who are around us: UK, France, Germany, Italy, Finland, EU, NATO. I mean, all partners around Ukraine supporting us. Thanks to them, and thank you very much for the invitation.
Thank you very much for being here.
President Trump.
Do you think it's fair?
Yes, Peter, go ahead.
Thank you, President Trump. So, President Zelensky, you say in the Post on X today, Russia must end this war, which it itself started. President Trump, you say President Zelensky of Ukraine can end the war with Russia almost immediately if he wants to, which is.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think we're going to have a meeting. I think if everything works out well today, we'll have a trilat. And I think there will be a reasonable chance of ending the war when we do that.
And is this the end of the road for American support for Ukraine? Is today's meeting deal or no deal?
I can never say that. It's never the end of the road. People are being killed and we want to stop that. So I would not say it's the end of the road. No, I think we have a good chance of doing it. It's been almost 4 years now that a lot of people were killed last week. A lot of people last week. I mean, millions of people killed, but a lot of people last week for whatever reason. A big number, a lot of soldiers, on both sides. And I know the president, I know myself, and I believe Vladimir Putin wants to see it ended.
And as you met with Putin on Friday, today you've got President Zelensky here. As you listen to Russia and Ukraine, which side has the better cards?
Well, I don't want to say that. I'm just here to be, look, this isn't my war. This is Joe Biden's war. He's the one that had a lot to do with this happening, and we want to get it ended. And we want it to end good for everybody. We want it to end good. The people of Ukraine have suffered incredibly.
And to that point, President Zelensky, are you prepared to keep sending Ukrainian troops to their deaths for another couple of years, or are you going to agree to redraw the maps?
Thank you for your question. So, first of all, we live under each day attacks. That today have been a lot of attacks and a lot of wounded people, and the child was dead, small one year and a half. So we need to stop this war, to stop Russia, and we need support American and European partners. And we will do our best for this. So, and I think we show that we are strong people, and we supported the idea of the United States, of personally of President Trump, to stop this war, to make a diplomatic way of finishing this war. And we are ready for trilateral, as President said. This is a good signal about trilateral. I think this is very good. Thank you.
Mr. President,
if the peace deal will be achieved, are you going to be willing to send American peacekeepers to Ukraine?
Well, we're going to work with Ukraine. We're going to work with everybody, and we're going to make sure that if there's peace, the peace is going to stay long term. This is very long term. We're not talking about a 2-year peace and then we end up in this mess again. We're going to make sure that everything's good. We'll work with Russia. We're going to work with Ukraine, and we're going to make sure it works. And I think if we can get to peace, it's going to work. I have no doubt about it.
Your team has talked about Your team has talked about security guarantees. Could that involve U.S. troops? Would you roll that out in the future?
We'll let you know that maybe later today. We're meeting with 7 great leaders of great countries also, and we'll be talking about that. They'll all be involved, but there'll be a lot of help when it comes to security. There's going to be a lot of help. It's going to be good. They are first line of defense because they're there. They're Europe, but we're going to help them out also. We'll be involved.
Vladimir Putin mentioned that the war will not end without addressing the root causes of this war. Have you had an understanding what are the root causes of this war?
Well, look, the war is going to end. When it ends, I can't tell you, but the war is going to end, and this gentleman wants it to end, and Vladimir Putin wants it to end. I think the whole world is tired of it, and we're going to get it ended. It was, I've done 6 wars. I've ended 6 wars, and I thought this maybe would be the easiest one, and it's not the easiest one. It's a tough one. A lot of reasons for it, and they'll be talking about it for a long time. But they'll be talking about the others. Look, India, Pakistan. We're talking about big places. When you look at, you just take a look at some of these wars. You go to Africa and take a look at that. Rwanda and the Congo, Republic of the Congo. That's been going on for 31 years. And so we've done a total of 6, and we really have 6, not including the fact that we obliterated, and it turned out to be a total obliteration, the nuclear, as you said, the future nuclear capability of Iran. And this one, I think we're going to get solved.
If you're seeing buffering, the buffering, at least from my perspective, is the stream that I'm watching, not my actual feed. But I don't know if you're having buffering, but I'm not seeing any issues on my end.
Also, I feel confident we're going to get it solved.
Thank you,
Mr. President. Can you tell us about your conversations with European leaders and what they need to see to support an end to the war?
Yeah, well, we're going to be meeting with a great representative group and 7 very powerful, very big countries and great people, all friends of mine and friends of yours. And we're going to have some suggestions made. They want to see peace. They would like to see peace.
President Trump, do you think it's fair to for Ukraine and for Russia to achieve a lasting and durable peace if Ukraine cedes its territories that Russia hasn't yet conquered? Do you think it's a fair peace for Ukraine?
We're going to have a lasting peace. Just to answer the first part of your question, we're going to have a lasting peace. I hope it's going to be immediately. I hope it doesn't have to go on. And I think people of the whole world is going to be very happy when that's announced.
Mr. President, you posted on social media, Mr. President, a very touching letter from the First Lady. And the letter was hand-delivered to President Putin. And it calls for an end to the war, essentially, because of the children and the children's future. Why did the First Lady feel that letter was necessary? Was it because she believes that Mr. Putin is the aggressor in the war? Is a similar letter being hand-delivered to President Zelensky?
So the First Lady felt very strongly. She's watched the same thing that you watch and that I watch. I see things that you don't get to see, and it's horrible. But when she's got a great love of children, she has a wonderful son that she loves, probably more than anybody, including me. I hate to say it, but she loves her son. She loves children, and she hates to see something like this happening. And that goes for other wars too. I mean, she sees the heartbreak, the parents, the funerals that you see on television. Always funerals. We want to see something other than funerals. No, she felt. It was a beautiful letter. It was very well received by him. And she did ask me to say, she would love to see this end. She would love to see it end. And she says it very openly, very proudly, and with great sorrow because so many people have been killed.
Mr. President, last week,
Brian, go ahead, Brian.
Yes, sir. I've got a question for each of you.
Yes.
First of all, President Zelensky, you look fabulous in that suit.
I said the same.
Yeah, you look good.
I said the same thing.
Yeah, looks
Isn't that
good.
nice? That's the one that attacked you last time. See, now he's
I remember.
Yeah, I apologize to you. You look wonderful. No, my first question for you, President Zelensky.
In the same suit. You see, I changed. You are not.
Maybe yours is much better. Real quickly, upon peace, God willing to get peace, are you open to holding an election in your country?
Yes, of course. We are open for election, yes. We have to do safety circumstances, and a little bit we need to work in the parliament, because during the war you can't have elections, but we can do security. We need, maybe how to say, we need a truth, yes, everywhere, the battlefield, in the sky, and the sea, yeah, to make possible for people to do democratic, open, legal elections.
So you say during the war, you can't have elections. So let me just say 3.5 years from now. So you mean if we happen to be in a war with somebody, no more elections? Oh, that's good. I wonder what the fake.
You like this idea?
Yeah.
No.
I love it. I love it.
This sounds insane for me even to ask this, but do you think the American media really doesn't even want a peace deal because they've been so critical of you every step of the way as you lead the charge for peace?
It's an amazing phenomenon. I said that if in the settlement you got Moscow, St. Petersburg, and thousands of miles around them, they would say, I made a bad deal. The level of hatred and animosity is incredible. Not with all. I mean, we have great people up here. We also have terrible people up there that I think are told what to say. But, in solving all of these wars, they don't even write about it. I saw major wars. I saw wars that have been going on for 31, 35, and 37, and a couple of quicker ones. One that was going to go into a full-blown deal very quickly. You know what the one I'm talking about? It was a big one. But
if you're having problems on YouTube, I'm live on Rumble as well.
No matter what I do, no matter what, and
mods link to Rumble.
Not anything to do with you. It's probably to your advantage in a certain way. But no matter what I do, no matter what deal I make, from my standpoint, you'll come out good. Maybe President Putin will come out good. But they'll say Trump was absolutely horrible. It's just that, and I've lived with that for a long time. I've lived with it since just before the first election. I used to get great publicity. Now I get the worst publicity anyone's ever gotten in office, but I won in a landslide, so that people understand they're the only ones that count ultimately. But I've also had great reporters. I've had journalists that are very good. But it's very sad when you do the right thing. As an example, they said, because of the fact that Vladimir Putin came to American soil, this was a tremendous defeat for Donald Trump. No, it was really wonderful that he did it. It was a hard thing for him to do, to be honest with you. It was the opposite of what they said, but they said it. Now, if he didn't come, they'd say that was also bad for Trump. Yeah, there's no way. And there's just a great dishonesty of the press. And I think that's why it's lost its credibility. Its credibility is at an all-time low. We have a thing going on right now in D.C. We went from the most unsafe place anywhere to a place that now friends are calling me up, Democrats are calling me up, and they're saying, sir, I want to thank you. My wife and I went out to dinner last night for the first time in 4 years. And Washington, D.C. is safe. And you did that in 4 days. I'll tell you, it's safe. I had another friend of mine. He has a son who's a great golfer. He's on tour. And he came in fourth yesterday in the big tournament where Scotty Scheffler made the great shot. And he said his son is going to dinner in Washington, D.C. tonight. I said, would you have allowed that to happen a year ago? He said, no way. No way. He said, what you've done is incredible. And I think the people realize it. But the press says, he's a dictator. He's trying to take over. No, all I want is security for our people. But people that haven't gone out to dinner in Washington, D.C. in 2 years are going out to dinner. And the restaurants the last 2 days were busier than they've been in a long time.
Sir,
Thank
I
you.
walked around yesterday with MTG. If you can walk around with DC with MTG and not be attacked, the city is safe.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. Last week, you warned of what you called severe consequences if a 30-day ceasefire or any type of ceasefire were not agreed to by Russia. Will there be severe consequences? Does that change because of
I
the
don't
meeting
think
with
you need a
President Putin?
ceasefire. You know, if you look at the 6 deals that I settled this year, they were all at war. I didn't do any ceasefires. And I know that it might be good to have, but I can also understand strategically why, well, you know, one country or the other wouldn't want it. You have a ceasefire and they rebuild and rebuild and rebuild, and, you know, maybe they don't want that. But if you look at the 6 deals that we made peace and you know, long-term, long-running wars, I didn't do any ceasefires. I like the concept. You know, I like the concept of a ceasefire for one reason, because you'd stop killing people immediately, as opposed to in 2 weeks or 1 week or whatever it takes. But we can work a deal where we're working on a peace deal while they're fighting. They have to fight. I wish they could stop. I'd like them to stop. But strategically, that could be a disadvantage for one side or the other. But all of these deals I made without even the mention of the words ceasefire.
President Zelensky, can you explain the decision to offer Ukraine Article 5 like security guarantees, but stop short of pushing for their full membership?
Yeah, well, we haven't done anything on that yet. If you look back and you go back long before President Putin, it was always a statement that they would never allow Ukraine into NATO. So that was a statement that was made, but we haven't discussed any of that yet. We're going to be discussing it today, but we will give them very good protection, very good security. That's part of it. And the people that are waiting for us, they are, I think they're very like-minded. They want to help out all.
Thank you, President. Thank you, President Trump. The United States has already given hundreds of billions of dollars to this war effort in Ukraine.
Right.
At best, it is a stalemate, and the killing continues. So, President Trump, how much more is the United States willing to give Ukraine? And President Zelensky, how much more do you want?
Well, I'll start off just by saying we're not giving anything now. We're selling weapons. This is something before, I guess the number is well over $300 billion. That was under Joe Biden, a corrupt politician, not a smart man, never was. By the way, go back 40 years. He was not a smart man 40 years ago either, but now he's in particular bad. This was done by a corrupt administration that shouldn't have been in. And frankly, if the right results of the election were given, if I were president, this war would have never taken place. And he would have been very happy because he would have liked to have seen. I mean, they went through hell. He went through hell. This war would have never happened. And the people that were killed, a couple of million people, a lot of people with soldiers and everything else, and the people that have been displaced and forced into other areas and other countries because of what's happened, none of that would have happened. And I'm just saying that he was a horrible president, whether it was the borders or this. He was just a horrible, corrupt president.
Mr. President,
you want to answer?
I can. Thank you so much. So first of all, we have possibility now to buy weapons from the United States. We are thankful for this program and this opportunity. We are thankful for Europe. They pay for this. And through NATO program, for example, Pearl and etc., we have some programs where we can have some money to finance this. And this is a part, I think, it's not a part for the war and to defend us. It also will be a part for security guarantees, to strengthen our army, to rearm Ukrainian army. This is very, very important. And it depends how much money we need to rearm. For example, the question of air defense, we spoke about it with President Trump, and I'm happy that we have now bilateral decisions and we work on it with production, American production. Nobody in Europe has so many air defense like Patriots, for example. We need it very much, and this is also about defending.
I think the good news, we make the best military equipment in the world by far. You mentioned the Patriots. How good are they?
Systems.
We have systems. They're literally 100% foolproof, and it's really like shooting two bullets. You know, two bullets hitting each other in the air in a space like this. The chance is 100%. It's 99 to 100%. So we sell the equipment to NATO, and NATO does what, I don't know what the arrangement is that you have with, but I know that they want you to have the equipment. And we're getting the best equipment in the world, but they pay us for the equipment. Under Biden, it was just crazy what was going on. I believe the number is over 300. I think it could be $350 billion worth of equipment and money and everything else. And we've made more progress in settling this war in the last 2 months than they made in 4 years. This should have been settled a long time ago, but it should have never happened. Yeah, please.
You pushed out on social media.
All right, Brian, go first.
You pushed out on social media about doing away with mail-in ballots and potentially electronic voting machines. Can you expand on that? How important?
Well, that's a very off topic. Just really quickly, mail-in ballots are corrupt. Mail-in ballots, you can never have a real democracy with mail-in ballots. And we, as a Republican Party, are going to do everything possible that we get rid of mail-in ballots. We're going to start with an executive order that's being written right now by the best lawyers in the country to end mail-in ballots because they're corrupt. And you know that we're the only country in the world, I believe, I may be wrong, but just about the only country in the world that uses it because of what's happened, massive fraud all over the place. The other thing we want change are the machines. For all of the money they spend, it's approximately 10 times more expensive than paper ballots. And paper ballots are very sophisticated with the watermark paper and everything else. We would get secure elections. We'd get much faster results. The machines, I mean, they say we're going to have the results in 2 weeks. With paper ballots, you have the results that night. Most people, but most people, many countries use paper ballots. It's the most secure form. So between paper ballots, very, very important, paper ballots, and I think maybe even more important, the mail-in voting. We're going to end mail-in voting. It's a fraud. If you have mail-in vote, even Jimmy Carter with this commission, they set it up. He said the one thing about mail-in voting, you will never have an honest election if you have mail-in. And it's time that the Republicans get tough and stop it because the Democrats want it. It's the only way they can get elected. Because with men and women's sports and with transgender for everybody and open borders and all of the horrible things, and now the new thing is they love crime. They're fighting me on the fact that I've made Washington, D.C. safe. We're not going to get mugged, beaten up, or killed like all the people you've been watching get so badly hurt. I'm glad. I hate to take your time with this, but I'm glad you asked me that question. We're going to stop mail-in ballots because it's corrupt. You know, when you go to a voting booth and you do it the right way and you go to a state that runs it properly, you go in. They even ask me. They asked me for my license plate, for identity. I said, I don't know if I have it. They said, sir, you have to have it. I'm very impressed, actually. But it's very hard to cheat with mail-in voting. As you know what happens in California, it's so corrupt where some people get 5, 6, 7 ballots delivered to them. Now, we got to stop mail-in voting, and the Republicans have to lead the charge. The Democrats want it because they have horrible policy. If you have mail-in voting, you're not going to have many Democrats get elected. That's bigger than anything having to do with redistricting, believe me. And the Republicans have to get smart. We're not going to have a country. I said for a long time at rallies, you need borders and you need free and fair elections. Those two things. Otherwise, you don't have. We have strong borders now. In 90 days, Mr. President, we didn't have 1, 0, 0, and 3 months. Not one person came in illegally into our country. In fact, even I find that hard to believe, but it's run by a little bit of a liberal group that put out the numbers. So I guess but 0, 0, and 0. You go back a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 millions of people poured into our country. It was terrible. Thank you very much.
What security guarantees do you need from President Trump to be able to make a deal? Is it American troops, intelligence, equipment? What is it?
Everything. And really, it includes 2 parts. First, strong Ukrainian army. That's what I began to discuss with your colleagues. And it's a lot about weapon and then people and training missions and intelligence. And second, we will discuss with our partners. It depends on the big countries, on the United States, on a lot of our friends.
And Mr. President, are you willing to commit American troops refers to that NATO-like protection in order to get President Zelensky to a deal today?
Well, I don't know if you define it that way, but NATO-like, I mean, we have people waiting in another room right now. They're all here from Europe, biggest people in Europe, and they want to give protection. They feel very strongly about it, and we'll help them out with that. I think it's very important. I think it's very important to get the deal done.
You've been involved with the peacekeeping in Ukraine since your first day in the administration. What would you say to the Ukrainian people right now who are suffering under the Russian attacks and hoping that the American people will stand with them?
Well, I know Ukrainian people. I've known many over the years. They're great people. They're smart. They're energetic. They love their country. I mean, they love their country, and we want to get this war ended. That's all I can do. I love the Ukrainian people, but I love all people. I love the Russian people. I love them all. I want to get the war stopped. Very important.
Mr. President, was there any aspect of your discussion with Vladimir Putin that left you disappointed?
Look, we just spoke to, I was just telling the president, I just spoke to President Putin indirectly, and we're going to have a phone call right after these meetings today. And we may or may not have a trilat. If we don't have a trilat, then the fighting continues. And if we do, we have a good chance. I think if we have a trilat, there's a good chance of maybe ending it. But he's expecting my call when we're finished with this meeting. Thank you very much, everybody.
Okay, there you have it. Sorry, I was muted. Hang on. God, they're like they're so pathetic. Like the media, they are so insane how they just scream and yell like children. It's embarrassing. So there you have it. Trump and Zelensky, and a much different tone this time around. Zelensky said thank you. Not as contentious as it was the previous time, for sure. That last meeting with Trump and Zelensky was an all-timer. This one definitely a different tone for sure. But ultimately, I don't really see how anything is going to come from this, but that's just me making a judgment based on what we're seeing right now. I just don't see how something gets done based on that. I don't know, man. We'll see. John freaking Murdoch for $50 says, hey, Jeremy, sorry about the last super chat message. I was trying to be funny, but it ended up creeping you out. It's all good. It did creep me out. I was just leaning into it, brother. Hail, Unit 199. Hail, chat. Mod lives matter. Chat lives matter. No, still no homo. All good, brother. Thank you so much, John. I was not creeped out at all, though. Don't worry. So Trump and Zelensky are now going to talk behind closed doors with European leaders. Let's hear what they're saying right here. Hang on.
Point of interest. Amid all the criticism that Trump went to Alaska to get a ceasefire and came away without a ceasefire, he said, look, I don't think we need a ceasefire here. In the other wars that he has settled, between Congo and Rwanda, Armenia and Azerbaijan, he said, there was no ceasefire.
Mm-hmm.
They just agreed to a peace. He says that maybe it takes a little longer to get to a peace agreement, but ceasefires have a habit of falling apart. There's big worry in Ukraine that if there was a ceasefire to be declared, as it happened some time ago, that Russia would just reconstitute its and rearm its forces and get ready for another big push. So, the president could be onto something here. They're just going straight.
He doesn't look natural. He looks like he's got a ton of makeup on. This guy does. He doesn't look natural. It looks weird. Got that one. Mad Frog says he's shopping for a suit at the kids department. Aldo says YouTube is having a conniption, lagging like crazy for me. Rumble feed is fine though. 1080p weird. Don't know if it's just me. Eric says Trump can coordinate a flyover at the exact time him and Putin take the stage in Alaska. Zelensky can't show up on time to negotiate peace. 100%. Isn't this the chick that got in trouble for running her mouth about Trump and Putin the other day? Isn't this her? I think her husband is like a Trump hater. Am I right about that?
agreed to allow Ukraine to have security guarantees that involve the U.S. We should note that Steve Witkoff said, or at least very strongly suggested when he was interviewed this weekend on the Sunday shows, that Putin had agreed to that. That was the sort of takeaway. He was framing it basically as a very big achievement, saying that they got Russia to a place they didn't think was possible, and that was one of the reasons why. But out of this event that we just saw in the Oval Office, I thought that our Peter Ducey's question to President Trump was also notable. He said, "Is this the end of the road for American support for Ukraine? Is today deal or no deal?" And the president said, "I can never say that. It's never the end of the road. People are being killed. We want to help out."
Yeah, we don't really care about you, to be honest. So we don't care. You're a Trump hater, and that doesn't surprise any of us at all, actually. Legalize adulthood for $50. Says Dave Rubin called. He says that despite the suit, Zelensky isn't black enough, and he only likes the OG blacks. Oh, legalize adulthood, always dropping the bombs with the Dave Rubin phone calls. And legalize adulthood with 20 gifted memberships. Let's freaking go. Thank you, legalize adulthood. Hail to you, brother.
Territorial concessions. No one here expects Zelensky to take Putin's first version of the map back to his country, but Zelensky does need to start talking about what he can let go of and what is critical to keep. And they say getting clarity on security guarantees and what that looks like will make it easier for Zelensky to sell that back home. I asked what that means.
What happened to the StreamYard highlights? They're screwed up. I'm having to manually highlight comments right now because the StreamYards is broken. Not really anything new with StreamYards, but yeah, StreamYards is broken right now, so I'm having to do it myself.
Gently made suggestions on territory, but they've got to come back with a counteroffer. Ukraine has to come back with a counteroffer if they are not prepared to engage in what the U.S. and the Europeans are suggesting. So that's sort of what the discussion is going to hinge upon in the Oval Office and in the West Wing later on today, guys.
It looks like the
StreamYard rant. You want a StreamYard rant? I mean, StreamYard essentially, like, I feel like EA bought out StreamYards because StreamYards used to be actually a good product that was affordable. And then some garbage company, seems like EA, bought out StreamYards. And now you have to pay significantly more money for this piece of shit platform, and it works significantly worse, which is the EA business model right here. They're probably going to start selling us DLC. So I pay all this money every month for fucking StreamYards. I pay for the highest plan possible so I can have the best, like feedback for the community and all that and highlight stuff and all that. Pay the highest. I don't even know what it is. It's absolutely insane how much I pay for StreamYards now. And it works significantly worse than it did when we first started to use it. It's crazy, dude. It is a garbage platform. It's the best we have, but it's trash, dude. It is so bad right now. Like, I don't even know how much I'm paying for this. What am I paying for this piece of shit right now? Let's see here. My account, billing. What am I paying? Holy fuck. I'm paying $89 a month for StreamYards. $89 a month for this piece of shit to not work. Holy shit, I didn't know I was paying that much. It used to be like $25. It used to be like $25. Now it's $89 fucking a month. Good God. Jeremy's Mossad money. Jeremy lost Mossad money. Yeah, that's garbage, dude. Jeremy Juicer's OBS. Honestly, if I can't the reason I use StreamYards is so I can highlight people's comments, and you can put the clips in and stuff, and it just is easier. Now I can still use StreamYards and capture with OBS, and if it keeps working like this, I'll just get rid of it and just use OBS. But Carl says, I thought you had 30,000 in super chats. Well, Carl, I would like to introduce you to a little thing called the Internal Revenue Service. Not sure if you've ever heard of them, but yeah, they take a lot of money from people like me because apparently I have to pay for all this bullshit that's happening, the shit that Zelensky's paying for. You know, I'd be sitting on a fucking island right now if it wasn't for the fucking IRS. I'd be on Bro Island with Beardo and Dan, but I'd be bringing chicks. No tax on tips. Yeah. But Jeremy spent over $1,000 on StreamYards. I probably have. Yeah, honestly, I've spent way over $1,000 on StreamYards, but it doesn't matter. As long as I can give the people a good experience, that's all that matters. Okay, that's all that matters. This guy looks like he just woke up. Let's hear what they're replaying right here.
The 6 deals that I settled this year, they were all at war. I didn't do any ceasefires. And I know that it might be good to have, but I can also understand strategically why, well, you know, one country or the other wouldn't want it. You have a ceasefire and they rebuild and rebuild and rebuild. I like the concept of a ceasefire for one reason, because you'd stop killing people immediately, as opposed to in 2 weeks or 1 week or whatever it takes. But we can work a deal where we're working on a peace deal while they're fighting.
So pros and cons, General, the president is saying there for a ceasefire insofar as it concerns Ukraine. How do you see it?
Well, I think what likely happened is Witkoff came back from his meeting, hadn't changed one iota in terms of a ceasefire. And the president, you know, and his team had to think through that. All right. Do we crush his economy now, or is there still a chance, even with a ceasefire, that maybe we can cut some kind of a deal here? Maybe it's better to talk to him face to face and get a sense, you know, of where he really is and how inflexible as he is. So I don't know exactly what happened, but I think that may be what did happen, and the president made a decision. But coming out of the meeting with Putin, it's obvious that he is encouraged. And look he spent an hour and a half.
If somebody says, is this guy even alive? I don't think this guy is alive. Dude, look, I've got to show this picture. I've never seen a picture that more perfectly describes a guy that runs a channel called Nerdrotic. Okay. Gary surrounded by women with a 199 hat on. Happy birthday to Gary, by the way. And Gary is like, he's like, I don't know what to do. There's women surrounding me. What do I do? That's a great picture. He's like, ew. I had to show that. That's freaking fantastic. Happy birthday to Gary. He's probably he may be 870. I don't even know. I don't know. You know what that picture of Gary reminds me of? Hang on. Look at this right here. I got to find this picture, okay? Come on. There's this one picture that kind of sums up the whole thing. Damn it. How could I not find this picture? It's a picture of Nick Saban, and he's surrounded by a bunch of like Alabama cheerleaders, and Nick Saban's like got his arms like right here. He's just like controlling himself. He's just like this. He's got his arms closed and he's standing there. He's very it's like he's frightened to death because he's got a bunch of like cheerleaders surrounding him. I can't find it though. It's like the Keanu Reeves picture where you take the picture and you're like, just hover the hand, you know, you're like, not going to do anything. Not going to do anything. I can't find it right now, but I'm sure many of you have seen it. I got that one. Jim says he's all dressed up today talking about Zelensky. Mantha says that Zelensky probably doesn't know the saying 5 minutes early is a soldier's courtesy. 100%. Got that one. Mitch Ravon thinks says MS-13 now. Andrew CR says Zelensky ran to Walmart's kids section to buy a suit. Nico says OMG, the Green Goblin isn't wearing a suit. Hydrocoptic says he showed up looking like Johnny Cash, laughing my ass off. Lil Zelensky says might as well rename it to MSDNC-13. Cole Hauser says PMS now. Udite says in addition to the suit, Zelensky starts with the thank yous this time. Looks like lessons learned to me. It was a much different. Listen, Trump taught him a very, very tough lesson in respect. So, that's 100%. Like you cannot debate that. Like he learned his lesson last time. Lil Zelensky says if you're buffering, restart your YouTube client side. Accident Seller says buffering. Jeremy, stop downloading porn until after the stream. Okay, first of all, I have a little respect. Okay, have a little respect. I only download that on my phone, not my computer. Okay, I'm a classy individual. Okay. Gone Trucking says you're almost there, Jeremy. You're almost there. Keep searching. Matt Brock says they don't want peace. Trump is forcing them to want peace. This is leadership. If Harris were there, the war would continue indefinitely. Bro, if Harris were there, this meeting wouldn't even happen. It wouldn't even happen. All right. Nico says, OMG, yes, Ukraine has lost. They lost. 1.2 million Ukrainians dead. EU and media's mentality. Let's continue this. Now Russia will protect those 4 Russian-speaking territories. They don't want more. I mean, ultimately, like, this is the whole thing, dude. Zelensky does not, I don't think Zelensky wants peace, okay? I don't think he wants peace at all. I think he likes the celebrity that he has gained from this. He likes being in power. This nonsense about not having an election while it's wartime. Zelensky does not want peace. That's the bottom line here. Zelensky doesn't want peace. So you can say like, oh, Putin's a bad guy. It doesn't really matter what you fucking think. The reality is Zelensky has shown no desire to actually want peace. He wants to be a celebrity and he wants to stay in power. And the only way that those things continue is for the war to continue. That's it.
Of personnel of President Trump to stop this war, to make a diplomatic way of finishing this war.
If the war is going to end, when it ends, I can't tell you, but the war is going to end, and this gentleman wants it to end, and Vladimir Putin wants it to end.
No,
I think
he doesn't.
The whole world is tired of it.
Fox News Alert and a live look at the White House, where President Trump is now hosting Ukrainian President Zelensky, as well as other top leaders from across the European continent. And Ukraine's future and potential path to peace hanging in the balance. Welcome back to our continuing special coverage here on America Reports. I'm John Roberts, and good to spend it with you, particularly with your security background.
Thank you, John. Thanks for having me today. I'm Jillian Turner in for Sandra today. So this high-stakes meeting comes on the heels of President Trump's Alaska summit with the Russian leader on Friday. He said the two had made good progress. That was evident today. When we saw Zelensky and Trump speaking just now in the Oval Office, the president's trying to broker a deal between the two sides to bring an end to this war, an end to the killing, as he says. Right now, it's been going on for nearly 3.5 years.
The White House says it's got to be a give and take, as President Trump is now pushing hard for an all-out peace deal instead of an interim ceasefire.
Let's go ahead and bring back senior White House correspondent Jackie Heinrich from 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Jackie, what else are you learning for us this hour?
Well, another thing that's really important to come out of today is a clear demonstration of unity between the U.S., the Europeans, and Ukraine. I'm told by a source that was involved in the pre-meeting at the Ukrainian embassy with Zelensky before he headed in for the broader meeting with President Trump and then later on with the Europeans, that basically they need Zelensky today to have a realistic discussion about land swaps, come back with a counteroffer if he's not going to accept Putin's first version of the map, which is not what anyone expects him to do. But it would be a very bad outcome if Zelensky dug in and refused to give up anything. I'm told that it doesn't seem like that's where his head is at. But Zelensky does need clarity on the security guarantees, what that looks like. They want to put together a commitment in principle today that he can take back home and sort of sell that to his country. And I asked how long that might take, because obviously the president wants to get this deal done. And I was told there's an understanding that the White House feels there's energy behind this. They think that Putin's acceptance of security guarantees with U.S. involvement is a very big deal. They don't want to lose that momentum. And they understand at the same time that it can't be instant. There is a process that Zelensky has to work through, and it will likely take weeks, not months. The U.S. and the Europeans have been gently, I'm told, making suggestions about these territorial concessions and emphasize that these are just suggestions, but take it and then come back with something else if you're not going to accept what we are offering you. And I asked how Zelensky's approaching that, given the issue of Ukraine's constitution and how it requires a national referendum to give up any territory. And I'm told basically they're leaving that to Zelensky to sort of figure out on his own and handle it. I'm also told that while there shouldn't be an expectation today that there's a date on the calendar for a trilateral summit, nobody wants today to fail. They want to have forward progress toward that goal. And there is some awareness at the same time that the U.S. may need to legislate this in a way to give a lasting quality to whatever agreement there is that would sustain into future administrations, because that is going to be a very big key to getting Zelensky to give up anything in this negotiation, guys.
Yes. It's something that General Keane just touched on a moment ago.
And one thing that I think is a huge, huge story that we kind of, a lot of it's going to be overlooked in the moment because of all the other stuff that's going on, is President Trump is committed to destroying mail-in voting, which is insane. Like, everywhere I go, I have to show my ID, but I don't have to show my ID to vote. It's crazy. Listen to this. This is something Trump said during this press meeting with Zelensky. This is huge, and he has got to push through on this.
So between paper ballots, very, very important, paper ballots, and I think maybe even more important, the mail-in voting. We're going to end mail-in voting. It's a fraud. If you have mail-in vote, even Jimmy Carter with this commission, they set it up. He said the one thing about mail-in voting, you will never have an honest election if you have mail-in. And it's time that the Republicans get tough and stop it, because the Democrats want it. It's the only way they can get elected. Because with men and women's sports and with transgender for everybody and open borders and all of the horrible things, and now the new thing is they love crime. They're fighting me on the fact that I've made Washington, D.C. safe. We're not going to get mugged, beaten up, or killed like all the people you've been watching get so badly hurt. I'm glad. I hate to take your time with this, but I'm glad you asked me that question.
Sorry.
We're going to stop mail-in ballots because it's corrupt. So between paper...
If mail-in ballots go away, Democrats will never win another election. And if that happens, if they can get that dealt with before the midterms, that will be huge. Because again, the mail-in ballots is why they were able to, steal 2020. This is why Gavin Newsom has been able to remain in power, as often gets overlooked. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not a California expert, but I believe, I've said this many times on this channel, I believe that there are more registered Republicans in the state of California than any other state in the country. Now, a lot of that has to do with the fact that California just has the most people, but I believe that there are more registered Republicans in the state of California than any state. There is a ton of Republicans in the state of California. Now, when you talk about, Southern California and all of that, that's where California gets this terrible kind of, the idea of California all stems from the behavior of Los Angeles and Southern California because of the behavior of the Democrats. But California is actually beautiful for the most part. The majority of the state is absolutely gorgeous. And you actually have, regular everyday people there. But because, everything's so corrupt over there, they can't even have their voices heard. So it's crazy. Let's see. Oh, my boy from the other night drops a 50. On my break now, just wanted to say thank you, whether or not I get my account back. Thank you for dealing with my drunkenness. God bless you, and God bless the chat. So I thank you so much. And I did get your email. The handle that you gave me showed no search for Twitter. So your Twitter account got suspended. You gave me the handle that you said was your handle. I looked it up, but there was no handle. It showed no results for that handle. So if it still should show it being suspended. But it showed no results for that. So if there's a follow-up email, if you can link me to the suspended Twitter account, because the @ you gave me just the @ with the name, but it showed no results. So I tried to look for it, but I couldn't find it. So so I will, if I can get the correct handle, I'll see what I can do. And again, no promises because I don't have any connections to Twitter, but signal boosting is the best I can do on that perspective. So if you could just give me a follow-up to a link to the account where it shows it's suspended or whatever, because without that, I can't do anything. But thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, Harley Dave's got a good idea. I'm going to create Ho Island. We're going to have all the chicks show up, okay? That'll combat Bro Island. So we're just going to have Ho Island. I think we can get more people to Ho Island. I think so. I like it. Harley Dave, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Beef Supreme for 20 says, I'm not sure what assurances can be made and trusted, considering we already had the Budapest Memorandum in the 90s, which guaranteed Ukraine's existing borders at the time. And look where we are now. Not much of a choice, though. Thank you, Beef Supreme. I appreciate it. Boats and hoes. Boats and hoes. Thank you, Beef Supreme. Eric James says, got held up. Glad to be here. Hail, Jeremy. Mods, ladies and gentlemen, how do I apply for a position of Geeks and Gamers besides Laughing Man side super chats? Hail, Laughing Man. Laughing Man owns the whole thing. So I don't know. You have to talk to him. I just, all the, all those rules that I say that I'm carrying out, it's Laughing Man's rules, not mine. So, some people actually think I'm for real when I say stuff like that too. Like they're like, I say the people that super chat the most run the channel. They're like, Jeremy works for them. Like, no, I work for Mossad. Have you guys not been keeping up? What's up, Adrian Curry? Got that one. Got that one. Chester Wolf says the EU is trying to censor the feed. They are afraid something will be said that goes against the official narrative that is not scripted. Maximus BT says, where are my breeds at? Brockatron says, as a Canadian in New India, aka Canada, I'm not surprised at the driver and his carelessness and entitled reaction. Be happy you have leaders like Trump. Absolutely. Aaron James has got that one. Damn it. Let's see. Jason J says, boom, right there. You heard Zelensky say it. Yeah, Zelensky says he wants everything. That's what he said. It's his own words. Accident Seller says that Fox guy, he's John Roberts. He's the next Bond. UP says Zelensky wearing different attire is like MSDNC rebranding. Well, to be honest, I trust Zelensky a bit more to have changed his outlook. He wants to survive. Ramtack with the gifted membership. Thank you, brother. Aaron James says serious in regards to G&G. Interview me. Welcome. All right, noted. Accident Seller says, noob, can you use hotkeys for YouTube stuff like mute? I can. Yeah, I have hotkeys set up, but I've just, I would just rather just do this. I could just hit the button right here, but yeah, I have hotkeys set up. Babo Yogi is proof that Jeremy isn't gay. He has no hygiene, doesn't cut his hair, dresses like a homeless. Jay, however, mod lives matter. Chat rules. Contemporary Compendium says, take it all, Putin. I don't give a shit. They'd be better off with you in charge anyway. Ghost Crusader TV says, sent you a DM on Elon's thing. Can't say it on here about replacing StreamYards and Super Chats. Remember, check it out, sir. Noted. I will do. Thank you.
Immediately. I hope it doesn't have to go on. And I think people of the whole world is going to be very happy when that's announced.
All right, continuing coverage of the high-level meetings at the White House and whether or not they might bear fruit when it comes to a potential peace agreement between Ukraine and Russia. Our panel will weigh in on that coming up next.
All right. There you go. River Miles says, thank you for your special coverage, D-Day Cobra. It's good to spend with you, particularly with your retail background. This is how I've become an expert on YouTube. So I agree. Guava Ball says, Jeremy, kudos to you for being able to listen to that bite-sized diaper stain. I can't handle it myself. It's all theater. I hear you, brother. Nico says, no, Jeremy, Zelensky doesn't want peace. We talk about this on the Duran, and they are fans of you, by the way. Please, American people, don't send troops there. I don't think Trump's going to do that. I hope not, but you never know. Atomic Lori says, California is very conservative. We are held hostage by San Fran and LA. If they ban mail-in ballots, it would be a game changer. This would save Cali. It would save America, and in all reality, it would save the world. Because, I mean, you have to be retarded to not understand what mail-in ballots are. Mail-in ballots are simply there to cheat. That's it. Look at this. Are they just like, was this them waiting for Trump while he was talking to Zelensky? I don't know if this is them when they were just waiting for Trump while he's talking to Zelensky. They looked like they're about to go to the principal's office. If this is amazing. This is amazing. God. I love it. Friggin' love it. Principal Trump will see you now. Principal Trump. Just send a follow-up email and should have the link now. God bless. Got it, brother. Thank you so much. Vicky says, I think you look great, Jeremy. Another chick that says it. See, women have more rights here at Cobra Cast than men. Okay? The rules are women are allowed to compliment my looks. Men have to call me names. This is the way the world should work, okay? This is how it works. I didn't make these rules, but we have to follow them. Couple of highlights here. Trump doubles down. I want to get the war stopped. Here we go.
We want to get this war ended. That's all I can do. I love the Ukrainian people, but I love all people. I love the Russian people. I love them all. I want to get the war stopped. Very important.
Mr. President, was there any aspect of your discussion with Vladimir Putin that left you disappointed?
Look, we just spoke to, I was just telling the president, I just spoke to President Putin indirectly, and we're going to have a phone call right after these meetings today. And we may or may not have a trilat. If we don't have a trilat, then the fighting continues. And if we do, we have a good chance. I think if we have a trilat, there's a good chance of maybe ending it. But he's expecting my call when we're finished with this meeting. Thank you very much. We want to get this war ended. That's all I can.
So there we have it. Keeping an eye on this. There's just so many things going on right now. Let's see here. Mouse Potato says you look good, great in red. You're a dude. You're not allowed to say that. Damn it. I saw this, I guess this Mr. Beast story is going viral. This guy right here tweeted that Mr. Beast is genuinely one of the most evil people alive today. I mean that. That got like 255,000 likes. And Mr. Beast responded, I raised 12 million to get hundreds of thousands of people clean water and save countless people from dying. Twitter, Mr. Beast is evil. Mr. Beast is evil. Mr. Beast, I am starting to believe 100% that Mr. Beast, not that he was chosen in the early days, but I believe that Mr. Beast was at some point in time selected by the powers that be. He has 400 million subscribers. I want to repeat that one more time. He has 400 million subscribers on YouTube. He only cares about telling you how great he is and how many people he's helped. That's all he cares about. And also, why don't you help people in America? And then every time he gets accused of that, he goes, we help people in America all the time. No, you don't. Do you know what you do? You make sure to look at this picture. Let me find it, okay? You know what Mr. Beast does? God, he's tweeting a lot. He takes pictures to show, oh, look at all the black kids I've helped right here. This is a fucking fake picture. Hey, black kids, cheer behind me as me, the white savior, shows that I'm giving you clean water. He also hates President Trump, okay? He hates President Trump. He's made that clear before. So you hate President Trump. You never promote helping America, and you're always showing how great you are by getting a bunch of less fortunate black kids so you can stand in front of them as a billionaire and show that you're pouring water as you're smiling and they're cheering behind you. Fuck this guy, man. This guy is a fucking like he has influence over kids, and his best friend turned out to be trans. His best friend leaves his family. His best friend leaves his wife and his kid to become a trans weirdo. But I'm supposed to believe that Mr. Beast just isn't controlled by the powers that be. Oh, you just happen to have the biggest YouTube channel. You just happen to have 400 million subscribers, and your best friend just happens to turn into a trans weirdo, leaving his family behind while you're helping less fortunate children, black kids, while never talking about America and hating Trump. And I'm supposed to believe that this guy isn't controlled. Get the hell out of here, dude. I don't trust this dude for nothing anymore. I used to, but the more I've started to watch this guy and how he operates and how his mission in life is to let you know how good he is, fuck this guy, man. So anyway, I don't like him. I don't like him. Anyway, rant over. Mr. Beast is Mossad. Mr. Beast is Mossad.
Ukraine at a cost of 1 million casualties and $500 billion in spending. If this war ends with a peace deal in which Ukraine can still has 80% of its territory and an Article 5 commitment from the United States and the European allies to protect it, that is a huge victory for Ukraine. It means they survive as an independent sovereign nation with protections in place to prevent Vladimir Putin from starting the war again. Now,
yes, but only, Mark, if Russia doesn't invade once again, right? If the peace deal.
Well, that's what the security guarantees are about. So that's what the security guarantees are about. That's why everything depends on what they negotiate right now. And if they do negotiate robust security guarantees and then Vladimir Putin rejects that, then one, he's the one saying no to peace, which means the hammer comes down on him both economically and in terms of weapons to Ukraine. And B, he's going to suffer terribly as a result of that. And two, he gives away the game, which is that he doesn't plan to stop. So President Trump just said, I'm not looking for a deal that stops the war for 2 years. I'm looking for a deal that ends the war permanently.
Somebody says Jeremy's jealous of Mr. Beast. Well, I'm not jealous because I can actually give my opinion. Unlike Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast can only give the approved opinion. I can actually give my opinion. And that's the difference between me and Mr. Beast. He has an approved opinion that he can give, and I can give whatever fucking opinion I want. And Mr. Beast has his anti-Trump opinion. He has his pro-transgender opinion. He has his pro-LGBT opinion. He has his let's go help kids in foreign countries, but not worry about promoting helping Americans. He has all of his pre-approved opinions. He can have those pre-approved opinions all he fucking wants. And he's YouTube's darling. And he has 400 million subscribers. And every platform loves him and his content and pushes all of his content out to all of these kids. I'm sure it's just a coincidence, though.
How do you sell this to the Ukrainian people?
Yeah, I mean, there was a recent poll done by a European Policy Institute that said that while, I mean, a lot of general polls will say that, yes, Ukrainians would like to see an end to the war and they're okay with a negotiated settlement. But when you really dig into the details, if that is about giving up certain strategic areas, giving up significant portions of Ukraine, then the political opinion on that sours very quickly. Another interesting aspect of this is if you have these land swaps also.
Look how little he is compared to Trump, dude. It's so freaking funny. He's so little. He's so little.
Is disputed territory in effect in our minds, and something that one day down the road potentially Ukraine could still have a claim to. So a lot of this is about how this is framed. I would also note, I mean, that Putin has to sell this too, and we don't think about that. But if you are trying to get him to willingly agree to do something, he has to go back.
Okay, so we just got it right here. As much as I want this, so this is the image I just showed. As much as I want this image of European leaders sitting in the White House like they're ready to be scolded by the principal to be real, it's not. So right here, it is a fake picture, unfortunately. So damn it. Damn it. That would have been good, but it is a fake picture, not real. Internet wins again. So there you have it. So anybody wanted to give some clarification on that?
Will be foreign troops on Ukrainian soil if they have any meaning. Could those include Americans? Undoubtedly, he would like the Europeans to take the lead there, and that's probably why they are at these events, this event today, to talk about how they would be the forward movement of that. But if Americans are there too, I think Donald Trump needs to make clear, as Martha was saying, that this is more in the line not of a forever war, but of a peacekeeping group that is there to ensure there isn't another one.
All right. Well, we'll see what comes of the meeting this afternoon. Still a lot to go. Ladies, gentlemen, thanks for being with us. Really appreciate it. Now this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been almost 4 years now that millions of people killed, but a lot of people last week, for whatever reason, a big number, a lot of soldiers, on both sides. And I know the president, I know myself, and I believe Vladimir Putin wants to see it ended.
All right, that's President Trump in the Oval Office during his meeting with Vladimir Zelensky after welcoming European leaders to the White House as well. We are awaiting that meeting now, the meeting between President Trump and the Europeans plus Zelensky to wrap up. We are hoping to get a photo shot of all of them once it is done. Stick with us. Coming up next, we're going to have more reaction from General Jack Keane.
All right, so we're waiting. I don't know if we're going to get a press conference from there or not. That would be interesting, but we don't know. Don't know. Let's see. Let me catch up on these super chats really quickly. Where are we at? Ladybug says Jeremy is an alpha male. That's what happens when you play Fortnite and Mario Kart. So I've been told. Thank you, Ladybug. It's ma'am says Jeremy looking sexy. It's ma'am, you are not allowed to say that. CJ Lewis says, your chat called you gay so much, now they're flirting with you. TVZTQ says, you don't have 400 million subs, Jeremy, but you have us. I'd rather have you guys anyway. Eric K says, not one of those wells Mr. Beast had drilled in Africa still work. The locals did not do the basic maintenance they were told to do. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter how much he tries to help. Like, it's still going to be a failed situation, but yet he doesn't want to help people in the United States of America. And then he'll say, like, oh, I help people in America all the time. Yeah, you don't promote it. Why don't you promote it? Why don't you just focus on helping America, Mr. Beast? Why the fuck are you going all these other fucking places and telling people how great you are? And it's not a matter of doing that. Like, people can do that. It's just with Mr. Beast, everything lines up. Trump hater, transgender friend, pro-LGBT, and constantly helping fucking foreign fucking countries. and never talking about America, never talking about the patriotism of America, never talking about how much he loves America. It's always somewhere else. Like, give me a little bit of balance at least. But no, never talks about America. Beef Supreme, or sorry, SJ Nix says, born and raised in SoCal, 54 years. I fucking hate it here. Trying to escape when I retire at the end of my Leo career. It was awesome in the 70s, 80s, not anymore. I hear you, brother. Well, like I said, man, I'm lucky that, you know, I ended up in Florida. I mean, I didn't move to Florida because it was like, oh, this is MAGA country. I moved to Florida long before Trump ever got into politics. I've just always loved the state of Florida, and I'm just lucky that Florida's turned out the way that it has. If Florida would have ended up going in the direction of California, I mean, I don't know if I would still be here, but I do understand that, like, once you're, you know, somewhere, it's hard when the government fails you and you're stuck there. So I do get it. Beef Supreme says building wells in Africa is a vain attempt, as most of the countries he's building these wells and don't have the industry to be capable of maintaining these wells. They all end up broken. Well, yeah, because it's not about helping people. It's about taking a picture to show everyone that you're great. Look how great I am. I'm helping all of these poor kids behind me. And it shows that I'm not racist. It's so gay. Joel says, Jeremy, you look really good today. Damn it, Joel, you're breaking the rules. I am Leighton Gay says, there is a roast beef sandwich on screen I want. Joel says, never mind, my phone auto-corrected gay to good. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. Phil says, only in 2025, where I get my news from a gay man who loses to a dolphin in Mario Kart. That's the world we're in right now. Slick Rick says, Jeremiah, I usually don't do this, but my God, the way you look in that hat. Come up to Space Mountain and I'll show you a good time. Woo! Good Lord. Everything's bad right now. I've lost control of this chat. I have no control whatsoever anymore. I've lost complete and total control. This is not good. So we are currently waiting. I see Jessica's in the chat. What's up, Jessica? Are we still having the buffering issue? You never had control. That is a very fair point. That is a very fair point. You look good, boy. Just mic issues. Well, you know, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Jessica says, Jeremy, I've been here just lurking. Yeah, no, you're always here. You're always here. It's ma'am says, looking fine today, Jeremy. I've already told you, you're not allowed to say that.
You need to settle down and mind your business, okay?
Both of you guys?
Ma'am, once again, ma'am.
I said both of you.
No, you said sir. Once again, it's ma'am.
I actually said both of you guys. It was a general.
Right beforehand, you fucking said sir.
Sir? Okay.
Motherfucker, take it outside. If you want to call me sir again, I will show you a fucking sir.
I apologize.
Motherfucker.
I apologize now.
Labco says, Jeremy calls out Mr. Beast as the Mossad plant, and Jer should know since he's Mossad. That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it right there. So, that is not, I don't think that's a compliment. I don't think that's a compliment at all. So let's just not say that.
To the rest of Ukraine. And that's really what the rest of Ukraine. And that's really what the Ukrainians are worried about, which is why it is also so important for there to be, we'll write this in blue, some sort of stabilization force here, whether it's just European involvement, whether it's American involvement as well, to stop any kind of Russian advance and to tell Vladimir Putin, you're not going to get away with anything if you try to go in. We'll see if that could be negotiated this afternoon. We'll see if it can be sold to Russia. We'll see if it.
The only reason I don't have, like, I have no idea what Vladimir Putin's like. The only reason I have any kind of somewhat sympathetic views on Vladimir Putin is because the mainstream media has told me I should hate Putin. If the media had never told me that I'm supposed to hate Russia and Putin, I probably would not have a good opinion of Vladimir Putin. But because the mainstream media has constantly told me over the last decade that we are not allowed to discriminate against countries or people based on anything, resembling that. Yet at the same time, Russia bad, Russia bad, Russia bad. Russia bad. Russia did this. Russia's responsible for everything bad in the world. Russia, Russia, Russia. Russia's the worst thing ever. And the whole time that we were being told that Russia was the worst thing ever, now it has been revealed that Barack Hussein Obama, Hillary Clinton used all of their intelligence to lie about Russia's involvement in the elections. So the whole thing is like, if they're bad, why do you have to make things up about how bad they are? Why can't you talk about the things they're actually doing? Why do you actually tell me? And then at the same time, while the media is constantly telling me how evil Russia is and how terrible they are, at the same time, I'm being told that the Ukrainians are the most wonderful humans that's ever lived, and they're the most perfect people, and Zelensky is the greatest man alive. Now, again, I have nothing against the Ukrainian people. I'm talking about the government, though. I'm talking about the actual government here. So I'm being told Zelensky and the Ukrainian government is perfect and wonderful, and they're innocent victims of this horrible dictator, and that Russia is terrible, and they're the worst people on the planet. Makes me question a lot of that, actually, when the media is telling me that. Just saying. Just interesting how it all works out. Because the media is truly the enemy of the people. Always has been, always will be.
Taking control of Ukraine, despite the fact they only hold 19% of it. They want to topple the government, take control of it, and as they have said time and time again,
D-Day McLean says, your IQ is showing. You named yourself D-Day after me, and you're a member of the fucking channel. So if my IQ is low, your IQ must be lower because you're giving me money and you named your fucking account after my D-Day Cobra name. So who's got the low IQ now?
he went and laid it right at him and said, look it, you've got to stand up for yourself here. You've been dependent on the security umbrella of the United States, for all these multiple decades. You have got to face this thing yourself. And Trump was threatening leave. And I don't think he ever really intended to leave, to be frank. He understands the strategic importance of it, but he wanted to get their attention, and he's got their attention. And they're sincere about building their defense budgets beyond 2%, going towards 5%. They are sincere about providing serious security guarantees to include European forces on the ground. They believe the fact that Putin has not given up. And despite a peace agreement, he would likely reattack again, possibly not in the Trump administration, but for certain after. Yeah, they are dead serious about one.
I love how you assume he was talking shit. Oh, D-Day McLean's been talking shit like a lot lately. He's really anti-Trump at this point. He was crying about Trump all during the Zelensky press conference just now. Like I've been seeing him. He's been crying about Trump for a while now. So when Trump started ranting about mail-in voting, D-Day McLean said, "This is embarrassing listening to Trump." It's embarrassing listening to Trump talk about mail-in fucking voting is needs to be dealt with. How is that embarrassing? Mail-in voting will absolutely destroy this country if it's not dealt with. Trump ain't going to be here forever. Trump needs to put things in place to make sure that these Democrats can't continue to steal elections from us. So it's absolutely not embarrassing at all.
That's the point that I was about to ask you is, they're worried that Putin might attack with what? I mean, anything short of nuclear weapons, it's going to fail on the battlefield against the NATO forces. So why would he even try it?
During this press conference, it's embarrassing. No, the fuck it's not. No, the fuck it's not. Why the fuck wouldn't you bring up something that can destroy our country when the eyes of the world are on you? Trump knows exactly what he's doing, and the fact that you're too retarded to understand, Trump knows that more people are watching this moment than would normally be watching. So it's the best time to bring up mail-in voting and how it's destroying our country. Fucking hell, how are people this fucking retarded, dude? Jesus. Trump's been doing this for 5 fucking decades, and you are smarter than Trump, apparently, in the YouTube comment section. Okay.
And they see the threat for what it is. That's why there's a lot riding on this meeting that's ongoing right now, and I hope that they can come up with something that's realistic.
General, thank you for taking time with us again. Always learn a lot from listening to your insights. We appreciate you.
Thanks, General.
Yeah, great talk to you, Jillian and John. Thank you.
All right, we'll see what comes of the meeting this afternoon. Meantime, this.
Made more progress in settling this war in the last 2 months than they made in 4 years. This should have been settled a long time ago, but it should have never happened.
As President Trump hosts Zelensky and an entourage of European leaders at the White House today, Russia has ramped up attacks on Ukraine. Analysis from 2 senior correspondents who have both reported from the front lines.
I don't care what these guys have to say. So let's see what the latest update is, though. Hey, oh my God. The Kranzensteins are whining about Trump because, of course, they are. And yeah, now you got ABC News is now talking about it. President Trump wrote on Monday in a post to his social media platform that he will lead a movement to get rid of mail-in ballots. Let's fucking go. Do it, Trump. Got to get rid of this shit. Again, oh my God. That was, hang on. Oh, no, no. Oh, no. Autism Capital says J.D. Vance waiting for Zelensky to show ingratitude. Oh, no. That's not good. That's terrifying. Holy shit, that's terrifying. You know, he was waiting on it, though. He was waiting. He's like, I'm just waiting. If he steps out of line, I'm going to take care of him. Is this right here? What is this? Hang on. What is this?
Now, this guy. Okay, let's see who arrives now. This guy, they say he's the president of Finland, looking like the captain of a cruise ship. We need to get him a captain's hat later on. Okay, who the fuck is this guy? These Europeans all look like accountants. Yes, sir. I come to do your taxes. Okay, thank you, sir. Ah, the British Prime Minister. They say this guy is gay. I don't know if that's true or not. I just think he's a dork. Hey, this guy is definitely gay, and his wife is a man, and she beats him. Well, poor guy. Georgia Maloney. I love her. I told her and Elon that if they ever have a kid, they better name him Eloni Maloney. Ursula. I like that she calls me daddy. They all should when you think about it. Good day. I come to see my American daddy. Yes, thank you very much.
Oh, man. That's good stuff. That's great. Here for the memes, baby. Here for the memes, as always. Where are we at? Okay, got that one. James says, Passport Bros going to be raiding Ukraine. Nico says, my final chat. Jeremy, can I ask, why do American people vote for Lindsey Graham, a.k.a. the same neocon that works with Richard Blumenthal? He's awful. I don't know. The Lindsey Graham thing is it will always be a mystery to me. I don't know how and why Lindsey Graham continues to stay in position. It seems very corrupt to me. I've never, ever in my life met a Lindsey Graham fan. Never. Have you, people in South Carolina, have you ever met a Lindsey Graham fan? Like, who's a Lindsey Graham fan? Who actually likes this guy? He's horrible. So yeah, it's a mystery to me, brother. Matt Frog says Ukraine killed Gonzalo Lyra, a U.S. citizen. AJ says, I'm typing this with one hand watching you. Did need to know that. Sponsored Urban Dictionary says, we at Urban Dictionary have the perfect description for Jeremy. Zaddy, whatever you are doing, it's working. Mark of Reality said, yeah, that's Coach Red Pill, right? I don't know him I don't know what his fucking real name is, but I knew his real name was like started with a G. But yeah, Coach Red Pill. That happened, what? Was that 2-3 years ago that he got killed? Mark of Reality says, what's wrong with people who have low IQ? 1992 space movie says, damn it looks like D.Day McClane and Mr. Beast are one of the same. They're both 1992 space movies. Also, you're looking good in your MAGA hoodie, gay boy. Dustin says, I don't hate Russia or love Ukraine. It isn't rewarding aggression with land dangerous. Isn't that what Chamberlain did early with Hitler, which backfired? Yeah, I mean, I don't think that it's necessarily like a good thing that Ukraine gives up land. But the point being is that, can Ukraine withstand Russia without all of this help? And the bottom line is no, they can't. So if you can't withstand this and you're not willing to work with all of these people who are trying to help you out, at some point you're going to have to, if giving up land is the only way you can stop it, then so be it. They can't do it by themselves. JB username says, Jeremy's so alpha he doesn't even jerk off. He has a guy for that. Oh, God. John Murdoch for 10. John freaking Murdoch says, after all these other comments, I don't feel so bad about what I said. Still no homo. You're the reason it got started, John, which I respect. Blackjack says, shouldn't Old Glory be dead center in that lineup? Well, I guess we'll see. Is there any audio to this? So I don't know if we're just going to get a photo op here or not. I have no idea. Why was Coach Red Pill even in Ukraine? I don't know the story. I didn't follow him or anything like that, so I don't know the backstory. Why was he even in Ukraine? Or Russia or wherever he was when he got killed? Wait for the chat to tell me. His family? Oh, he lived there? Is that what it was? Okay. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Look at the boss.
Hello, everybody. Now understand.
Macron just knocking people over.
Not a good day. That was not a great day. Is everything okay? You all set? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
That's it. I don't know if we're going to get much more today. Let me go back to that. Let me go back to that schedule. Don't think we're going to get much more. It might be it for the day. Now, we may get some reports a little bit later. Trump is not happy. I think he's just, I don't know. I think he's got a lot on his mind right now. Let me pull up this. Okay, so open a new tab. Okay, so we had, European leaders arrive at the White House. 1 p.m., president greets the president of Ukraine. 1:15, president participates in a bilateral meeting with the president of Ukraine. 2:15, president greets European leaders. 2:30, president participates in a photo. So that's it. That seems to be the last of it right there. At least that's what the schedule said. So, yeah, so that's probably going to be it in terms of all of the scheduled stuff. Is playing Fortnite on Trump's schedule? It should be. It should be. Probably not, though. Jared Armstrong says U.S. Flag always to the left of the left in the U.S. A pig Bennis says the Trump is always on vacation crowd has been very silent the last few days. Well, they like to make shit up. So Dystopian says, Chair Catcher says Jessica Tarlov gave Jeremy mouth herpes 199. Ronan says, is your hair long enough for the chat to run their fingers through it? Sadly, yes. Mod Eric says California's most corrupt. Last election, I tried to show my ID. The lady freaked out a bit, saying, I do not need to see that. We do not do that in California like it was racist or something. That's crazy. Rumball says cocaine shrimp. Well, I think what I'm going to do is Mad Frog says, good news, Jeremy. Ukrainian women in my area want to meet me. Wish me luck. Mad Frog. Good luck, brother. Mad Frog. That sounds like a good deal, man. So, Ladybug says, you're going to have a gaming stream tonight. I don't know. I'm definitely going to do another Cobra Cast tonight because I'm going to give this a few hours. We're going to see everything that happens. We'll see how everything plays out over the next several hours, and I'll do a Cobra Cast later to update everybody. Monica says, how are we doing in Super Chat ranking? That's a good question. I haven't even looked. Where did we? Let's see. How are we doing in Super Chat? I'll have to look and see. Super Chats. United States. Let's go to last week. Last week in the United States. Who is this person with $135,000 in Super Chats? $135,000. What? And they only got 20,000. That must have been like what's Bad Bunny? Is that the fucking musician? That's crazy. All right, so we are not in the top 10 last week. We're 12th. That's just for the week, though. That's just for the week. So we're 12th for the week. Okay? 12th for the week. And last month, we were 7th for the month. So we'll see where we end up. So 12th for the week last week. Your connection is lost. Okay, I got that. MSNBC title now ends in December. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more. Trump is live. Oh, shit, he is live. Well, fuck me. I guess we're not going anywhere. Hang on. I got to reshare my screen, though. It messed up. Can you hear him?
Took place today. We've had a very successful day thus far. Important discussions as we work to end the killing and stop the war in Ukraine. We're all working for the same goal, very simple goal. We want to stop the killing, get this settled. I've just had the honor of being with President Zelensky and all of the discussions that we've had. We covered a lot of territory. And I spoke indirectly with President Putin today. We're going to call President Putin right after this meeting. I'm sure we're going to have a solid meeting, good meeting, maybe a great meeting. And we're going to try and work out a trilat after that and see if we can get it finished, put this to sleep, because this is not since the Second World War has there been anything like this. So I'm honored to welcome NATO Secretary General.
It just
Mark
started.
Rutte.
It just started.
He's a great gentleman, great political leader in Europe generally, but now he's the NATO Secretary General, and you're doing a fantastic job. Thank you very much, Mark. Prime Minister Starmer of the United Kingdom, our friend and my friend, and doing really well. And people like him a lot. We all like him. Everyone knows President Macron of France, who's been with me from the beginning, one of the first people I met as a foreign dignitary, and I liked him from day one. And I like him even more now. That's pretty good. That's unusual. That's a pretty unusual thing. Prime Minister Meloni of Italy, who's a really a great leader and an inspiration over there.
Thanks, man. I did get I got your follow-up email. I'll read it later.
Person, she's served there for a long period of time relative to others. They don't last very long. You've lasted a long time. You're going to be there a long time. Chancellor Merz of Germany, who is a very strong person and a very strong leader and very highly respected in Germany. And he's my friend, and it's an honor to have him as my friend. Thank you very much. Very good. You look great with your tan. Where did you get that tan? I want to get a tan like that. President Stubb of Finland, and he's somebody that, where are we here? Huh? Where? Oh, you look better than I've ever seen you look. But you've done a great job, and we wanted to have you here because you're somebody that we all respect, and you've had a lot to do with the success, I think, and the potential success. And thank you very much for being here. We appreciate it. And the President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, who is somebody that we just made a big deal with all of those countries. I don't know. I think you might be more powerful than all these guys at this table. I don't know. But we had a great negotiation, and you're respected all over the world. So I want to thank you very much for being here. It's a great honor to have you. The Alaska Summit reinforced my belief that while difficult, peace is within reach, and I believe that in a very significant step, President Putin agreed that Russia would accept security guarantees for Ukraine, and this is one of the key points that we need to consider, and we're going to be considering that at the table also, like who will do what, essentially. I'm optimistic that collectively we can reach an agreement that would deter any future aggression against Ukraine, and I actually think there won't be. I think that's even overrated, largely overrated, but we're going to find out. And I think that the European nations are going to take a lot of the burden. We're going to help them, and we're going to make it very secure. We also need to discuss the possible exchanges of territory, taking into consideration the current line of contact. That means the war zone, the war lines that are pretty obvious, very sad, actually, to look at them. And negotiating positions. President Putin, also, you have President of Ukraine, who is, you just met a little while ago, and we're going to try and get a three-party meeting, maybe as soon as we can. And I have a feeling you and President Putin are going to work something out. Ultimately, this is a decision that can only be made by President Zelensky and by the people of Ukraine working also together in agreement with President Putin. And I just think that's very good things are going to come of it. So I hope we have a good meeting. And if we can have a good meeting, I'll set up a meeting with President Putin. And if you'd like, I'll go to that meeting. And not that I want to do that, but I will do that because we want to save a lot of people from dying. A lot of people are dying, and we got to save them. We got to save it. 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 people sometimes a week. All of us would obviously prefer an immediate ceasefire while we work on a lasting peace, and maybe something like that could happen. As of this moment, it's not happening, but President Zelensky and President Putin can talk a little bit more about that. You know, in the 6 or so wars that we stopped, we haven't had a ceasefire. And so I don't know that it's necessary. You can do it through the war, but it would be, I like the ceasefire from another standpoint. You immediately stop the killing. But I believe a peace agreement at the end of all of this is something that's very attainable, and it can be done in the near future. With all of the wars that I got involved in, we only have this one left. Of course, as I walk out the door, there'll probably be a new one starting, and I'll get that stopped too. But I thought this was going to be one of the easier ones. It's actually one of the most difficult. They're very complex. The next step would be for a trilateral meeting, and that will be worked out. And I just look forward to working and having a great result. We're going to spend a lot of time today talking about, and we're really honored you guys came over. I mean, these are the heads of major countries and respected all over Europe. And they speak for, largely, I think I should say, but pretty much for the other countries of Europe. And we will come to a resolution today, I think, on almost everything, including probably the security. And that's pretty much the story. I'd like to say, Mr. President, would you like to say something? You have the media. If you want, you could come over and you could stand, you could use mine, or you could just turn around, whichever you feel comfortable with.
Thank you so much. I can speak without microphone. Thank you so much. I think that we had very good conversation with President Trump.
Very good.
And it really was the best one. Or sorry, maybe the best one will be in the future. But it was really good. And we spoke about very sensitive points. The first one is security guarantees. And we are very happy with President that all the leaders are here, and the security in Ukraine depends on the United States and on you and on those leaders who are with us in our hearts. They have been online before yesterday, and etc. So a lot of countries on the side of Ukraine, our people, and all of us want to finish this war, stop Russia and stop this war. We spoke about it, and we will speak more about security guarantees. This is very important that the United States gives such strong signal and is ready for security guarantees. The second point, or maybe the first, humanitarian direction, very important to exchange all the prisoners, and I think that President will help. And I was very thankful to your wife again, Mr. President, for the letter about our abducted children, and I hope that really it can be a historic role for the people to bring kids back to the families and be happy.
Get the people back, yeah.
Yes, this is so important, and I'm happy that we discussed it, this track with the President Trump, and I hope that we will find decisions. And then what is very important, that all the sensitive things, territorial, etc., we will discuss on the level of leaders during trilateral meeting, and President Trump will try to organize such meeting, and he said that he will come or not come. Ukraine will be happy if you will
both want me
participate.
there, I will be there.
Yeah, thank you. And I think this is very important. Yes, so security guarantees, bringing kids back, and all our people, not only warriors, first of all, warriors, and all the civilians, journalists, a lot of people in prison. So we need them back. And guarantees which will work for the years. We spoke about it, and I showed the President a lot of details on the battlefield, on the map. Thank you so much. Thank you for the map, by the way.
Good map.
It was great. Yeah. I'm thinking how to take it back.
We'll get you.
No. I think that we had constructive, specific meeting, and I'm very thankful to all the leaders who are here, and you helped a lot. And so we are happy that we have such big unity today. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much,
for hosting us.
Mr.
Thank you.
President. I think you'll see that President Putin really would like to do something else. I think when we set that up, when we do, I think it's going to be when, not if. I think you're going to see some really positive moves. I know there's over 1,000 prisoners, and I know they're going to release them. Maybe they're going to release them very soon, like immediately, which I think is great. But we're going to set that up today after this meeting. So very good and great remarks. I appreciate it. Mark, as head of NATO, maybe you could say a few words, please.
Yes, I will be very brief. I really want to thank you, President of the United States, dear Donald, for the fact that you, as I said before, broke the deadlock, basically with President Putin by starting that dialogue. And I think it was in February that you had the first phone call. And from there, we are now where we are today. And that is, I think, if we play this well, we could end this. And we have to end this. We have to stop the killing. We have to stop the destruction of Ukraine's infrastructure. It is a terrible war. So I'm really excited. And let's make the best out of today and make sure that from today onwards, we get this thing to an end as soon as possible. I really want to thank you for your leadership, what you are doing for Volodymyr, but of course also all the European colleagues. It is really crucial. And the fact that you have said, I'm willing to participate in the security guarantees is a big step. Is really a breakthrough, and it makes all the difference. So also thank you for that.
Well, NATO also has agreed from 2% to 5%, which is something that is a massive amount of money. And it's 2% that wasn't always paid to 5% that is paid. That's a big difference. And so we appreciate that. That was a great move. Thank you very much. Ursula, maybe on behalf of the Commission, you could say a couple of words.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. And it's a very important moment. Indeed, we are here, Europeans, as friends and allies. We had a fantastic NATO summit. Together as the two largest and biggest economies in the world, we had the largest trade deal ever agreed. And now we are here to work together with you on a just and lasting peace for Ukraine. Stop the killing. This is really our common interest, stop the killing. And indeed, it's very good to hear that we're working on the security guarantees, Article 5 life security guarantees, so important. But I want to thank you also that you mentioned the thousands of Ukrainian children that have been abducted. And as a mother and grandmother, every single child has to go back to its family. This should be one of our main priorities also in these negotiations, to make sure that the children come back to Ukraine, to their families.
Thank you. And we did. I was just thinking we're here for a different reason, but we just a couple of weeks ago made the largest trade deal in history. So that's a big thing. And congratulations. That's great. Thank you very much, Ursula. Mr. Chancellor from Germany, a very great leader.
Mr. President,
Please.
dear Donald, many thanks for having us today. I think this is extremely helpful that we are meeting and hearing that the two of you are having such a good meeting today here in Washington. The next steps ahead are the more complicated ones now. The path is open. You opened it last Friday, but now the way is open for complicated negotiations. And to be honest, we all would like to see a ceasefire, the latest from the next meeting on. I can't imagine that the next meeting would take place without a ceasefire. So let's work on that, and let's try to put pressure on Russia, because the credibility of these efforts we are undertaking today are depending on at least a ceasefire from the beginning of the serious negotiations from next step on. So I would like to emphasize this aspect and would like to see a ceasefire from the next meeting, which should be a trilateral meeting wherever it takes place.
Well, we're going to let the president go over and talk to the president, and we'll see how that works out. And if we can do that, I will say, and again, I say it, in the 6 wars that I've settled, I haven't had a ceasefire. We just got into negotiations, and one of the wars was, as you know, in the Congo was 31 years long. Another one that we settled last week with 2 great countries was 35 years going on, and we had no ceasefire. So if we can do the ceasefire, great. And if we don't do a ceasefire, because many other points were given to us, many points were given to us, great points. Please, Georgia, go ahead.
Well, thank you very much, Donald, Mr. President, for hosting us today in this important meeting. And I think it is an important day, a new phase, after 3 years and a half that we didn't see any kind of sign from the Russian side that there was a willing for dialogue. So something is changing. Something has changed thanks to you. Thanks also to the stalling in the battlefield, which was achieved with the bravery of Ukrainians and with the unity that we all provided to Ukraine. And the reason why I mention it is that we also have to remind that if we want to reach peace and if we want to guarantee justice, we have to do it united. So that's why it's a very good day, the one we are in. You can obviously count on Italy as it was from the beginning. We are on the side of Ukraine, and we do absolutely support your efforts towards peace. We will talk about many important topics. The first one is security guarantees, how to be sure that it won't happen again, which is the precondition of every kind of peace. I'm happy that we will discuss about that. I'm happy that we will begin from a proposal, which is the, let's say, Article 5 model, which was Italian at the beginning. So we are always ready to bring our proposals for peace, for dialogue. It's something we have to build together to guarantee peace and to defend the security of our nation. So thank you, Mr. President, for hosting us.
Thank you very much. Emmanuel?
Thank you, Mr. President, for organizing this meeting and for your commitment. And everything was said, but I just have to say here, everybody around this table is in favor of peace. And we work very hard, and we've worked very hard during the past few years to have a peace which is a robust and long-standing peace. This is why the idea of a trilateral meeting is very important, because this is the only way to fix it. And by the way, I think as a follow-up, we would need a
chat is amazing.
Because when we speak about security guarantees, we speak about the whole security of the European continent. And this is why we are all united here with Ukraine on this matter. In order to organize such a trilateral meeting, your idea to ask for a truce or ceasefire, at least to stop the killings, as we discussed, is a necessity. And we all support this idea. And in order to have such a long-standing peace for Ukraine and for the whole continent, we do need the security guarantees. And the first one is clearly a credible Ukrainian army for the years and decades to come. And the second one is our own commitments, all of us. And we worked very hard during the past few months amongst the coalition of the willings, with the support of NATO, to build the different pillars of security guarantees and our commitments. And you can be sure that Europeans are very lucid about the fact that they have their fair share in these security guarantees for Ukraine, but their own security is clearly at stake in this situation. So you can count on us, as we can count on you, in order to deliver this robust peace for both Ukraine and Europe.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel. Mr. Prime Minister?
Thank you very much, Mr. President, and thank you for hosting us here. Can I start where Emmanuel started, which is we all want peace. The war in Ukraine has had a huge impact, particularly on the Ukrainians who've borne the brunt of it, but it's also had an impact on Europe and on the United Kingdom. There's not a family or community that hasn't been affected. And when we talk about security, we're talking about the security not just of Ukraine, we're talking about the security of Europe and the United Kingdom as well, which is why this is such an important issue. I think this is such an important meeting. As a group, I think we've had a discussion on the phone a number of times, Mr. President, but be able now to be around the table to take it forward. And I really feel that we can, I think, with the right approach this afternoon, make real progress, particularly on the security guarantees, and your indication of security guarantees, of some sort of Article 5 style guarantees, fits with what we've been doing with the Coalition of the Willing, which we started some months ago, bringing countries together and showing that we were prepared to step up to the plate when it came to security. With you coming alongside, the US alongside what we've already developed, I think we could take a really important step forward today. A historic step, actually, could come out of this meeting in terms of security for Ukraine and security in Europe. I also feel that we can make real progress towards a just and lasting outcome. Obviously, that has to involve Ukraine, and a trilateral meeting seems the sensible next step. So thank you for being prepared to take that forward, because I think if we can ensure that that is the progress out of this meeting, both security guarantees and some sort of progress on trilateral meeting of some sort to bring some of the difficult issues to a head, then I think today will be seen as a very important day in recent years in relation to a conflict which has gone on for 3 and a bit years, and so far nobody's been able to bring it to this point. So I thank you for that.
Well, thank you very much. And, you know, it's very interesting because this is the first for the White House. You can't say that very often. It's seen a lot over the years, since 1800, 1799, to be almost exact. But this is the first where we've had so many prime ministers, presidents, the heads of European nations. And by the way, Alex, I'd like you to say a couple of words too. You're a young, powerful man. Before I finish
Vibrant
up, I want you to
man.
say a couple of words. Go ahead.
I'll take the notion of youth back to my wife and try to convince her. Thank you very much, Mr. President. I think in the past 2 weeks, we've probably had more progress in ending this war than we have in the past 3.5 years. And I think the fact that we're around this table today is very much symbolic in the sense that it's Team Europe and Team United States helping Ukraine. And the progress that we're looking out of this meeting is about the security guarantees, which are a big part of this. And then, of course, moving towards a process with a trilateral meeting with you and President Putin and President Zelensky. Some of the international media might wonder, why is the president of Finland here? I think the reason is probably that we might come from a small country, but we have a long border with Russia, over 800 miles. And we, of course, have our own historical experience with Russia from World War II, the Winter War and the War of Continuation. And if I look at the silver lining of where we stand right now, we found a solution in 1944, and I'm sure that we'll be able to find a solution in 2025 to end Russia's war of aggression and find and get a lasting and just peace. The situation is very difficult, but that's why we're here.
Thank you, Alex, very much. Good job. So we're going to be meeting for a while, and we're going to discuss some of the issues. And I don't think there's any issue that's overly complex. It's at a point now where people want to do things. I really do believe. I've known him for a long time. I've always had a great relationship with him. I think that President Putin wants to find an answer too. And we'll see. And in a certain period of time, not very far from now, a week or 2 weeks, we're going to know whether or not we're going to solve this, or is this horrible fighting going to continue? We'll do our best to get it ended. And I believe you have 2 willing parties, and usually that's good news, but 2 willing parties that want to make a deal. And we'll journey together, and we'll go over and we'll see if it can be done. And it's possible it might not be able to be done. On the other hand, it's possible it will. And we're going to save thousands and thousands of lives a week. And so it's something we really have to do. And or at least we have to give it our best. It's all you can do. You can give it your best. But I think we may have a very good outcome. So I want to thank you all, and the media, I want to thank you. We're going to be staying here for a little while. Then we're going to walk over to the Oval Office, and we're going to have another little discussion about similar matters. And then they're going to go home to their great countries and report. And I'm going to remain here and work, and you're going to go and work. We're all going to be working we may be in a different location, but that's what we know how to do is work. But I want to thank the media. Has been actually very fair, generally speaking, very fair. I think it's important that they're fair because this is a very important subject. We have to get it ended. And so that's all we ask for is fairness with the media. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys.
Get him out. Get him out. Get him out. Get him out. Okay, so there we have it. So I wasn't expecting us to get a feed from that, but that was pretty cool. King Moonracer says, not only do I have a technician's operator license for a turret truck, but I have a .50 KD get some of that. 0.50, man, that's damn good. Matt Frog says these clowns were empowered during Biden. Now they're anti-war. GTFO. Agreed. James Bash says the media won't be able to spin this one, or maybe they'll say the EU ran over Trump. Let's go. River Miles says this is great for the U.S., Europe, Ukraine, Russia, and nothing will ever top the South Africa live stream. Andrew Sierra says Jeremy's favorite pasta is. I was thinking about saying it, but thank you. Fig Atoni. Philip Butler says, is it me or do they all look pissed? I think they're uncomfortable being in the room with a real leader. I think that is probably, that's my takeaway from it. Mark Reality says the difference between Chamberlain and Czechoslovakia before World War II and now is peace through strength. Get off the land details. Thank you, Mark of Reality. And look, I saw, where did it go? Okay, as this whole thing is happening with Trump and Zelensky, and as we remember, the last meeting, if Zelensky would have acted like he's acting today in the first meeting, we'd be a lot further along now. Okay? And it made me think of this guy right here. Do you guys remember this after the first meeting with Zelensky? You remember this guy? If you haven't seen this, let me prepare you that it is pathetic.
I don't give a fuck what he wears. This man has been respectful to every leader in the world. Everybody. And you clowns want to fucking do that shit to him when he comes over here. And then talk to him like shit and kick him out of the White House. You fucking disgraceful son of a bitches. Man, I just want to be next to Zelensky right now. I wish I could talk to him. Forgive us. God damn, man, I can't. Sorry, y'all. I can't believe what I just witnessed in our White House.
I can't believe that's real. So I remember the first time I saw this, I thought that this was like somebody memeing. It turned out, like, from what I understand, this was a real video. Like, this guy, he threatened to sue people that were going after him, all of that. 100%. It's not fake. I'm pretty sure it's not fake. Now you guys are wanting me to make me look and see. I'm pretty sure it's not fake. Now I got to look and see. All right, give me a minute here. Let me go back to search because I saw there was another video of this guy. But I think he threatened to sue people.
You're the highest level in this country's office, and you refuse to wear a suit. Just want to see if you do own a suit.
This is all just a show. Yeah.
This man is fighting for his country. He talks about him wearing a suit. I hate this country.
You hate this country, but you still live in it. Yeah.
I don't give a what he wears.
Oh, cry, baby, cry. So let's get this straight. You want us to continue to fund billions of dollars to Ukraine. Ukraine is never going to win a war. That war is never going to end. There's going to have to be some type of agreement between Ukraine, Russia. Yeah, diplomacy. Yeah. They're not going to actually win the war. Yeah. They're not winning it now. You're not going to be able to fight your way through this.
I've never in my life felt like I do right now.
Imagine filming this, Kevin, and uploading it. Yeah.
I think that there's more video, though. There was like another clip of it, but I'm pretty sure that this is not fake. I know it seemed to, and that's what I thought at first, too. But this guy, like, he 100% did a reaction. Is this him?
Trump, JD Vance. Actually, it's for all those MAGA people too. All you MAGA people, you can take this video after you're done and shove it so far up your ass, it winks at you tomorrow morning when you brush that rotten tooth.
Every American family which cherishes the warmth of its home and wishes the same warmth to other people. I thank President Biden and both parties at the Senate and the House for your invaluable assistance. I thank your cities and your citizens who supported Ukraine this year, who hosted our Ukrainians, our people, who waved our national flags, who acted to help us. Thank you all. From everyone who is now at the front line, from everyone.
I hate when people put all this fucking music in these TikTok videos, man. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that is not a troll. Pretty sure that's real. Let's hear what they're saying, because apparently Zelensky's going to be on special report tonight.
And back from Alaska on Air Force One and having conversations with not only President Trump, but Steve Witkoff and others. There is this confidence that they have points that have been agreed to, including the security guarantee point. To Witkoff's mentioning there, they think they have it on the Putin side, an agreement that it will be robust and take shape and be almost like a NATO situation with Article 5. The question is whether U.S. troops are on the ground or not. It doesn't sound like that's the case, that it would be European troops, boots on the ground in positions along front lines, whatever those lines end up.
So we're going to get more details. That's why I'm going to go live a little bit later once we get a little more of these details. Your Barmy says, get him some estrogen. Michael says, Maximus Cucamus. Darth McBee says, bro wants to be next to Zelensky so bad. Brian Miller says, the dude is the poster child for what type of masculinity the Democrats want. The man who cries, looks weak, and lets women do whatever they want. That is exactly what the Democrats want. You're right about that. Okay, so we're going to call it there for now. I'm going to go live again tonight. So make sure you have your notifications turned on. We'll do a follow-up and see if there's any more details that we get over the next few hours. What time? Probably around 7 Central tonight. Probably no later than 8 Central. Between 7 and 8 Central is when I'm going to shoot to go live again. And then we'll do some follow-ups to see if there's any more information that is released. Thank you guys so much. Pink Lady says, I'm signed up but never get notified. Well, I did, because Georgia Dog actually retweeted him. So at least I put it on Twitter that I was going live as well. So thank you, Georgia Dog, for that. All right. So I appreciate all of you guys for hanging out with me. I'll see you a little bit later tonight. Have a good evening, and we will talk to you later. Bye, everyone.